Spinning. Is Monday giving you the blues? Let's turn that frown upside down. Friendly warning, there more than likely will be some adult language on this episode. So, therefore, put in your earbuds or save and watch at a later date. Make sure there aren't any kids around. Just a fair warning. It's probably going to happen tonight. Welcome back. Let's get into this. What is good, everybody? Welcome back. We have made the journey, the trek back to the homestead. Guess we're calling it a homestead now. From C2E2, and it's been an absolutely amazing weekend. We're all tired. It's been a blast. It's been crazy. Lots of experiences, lots of fun things happened this weekend. And we've got a couple of guests here that are going to talk about it tonight. So many people hanging out, watching live in the chat. Thank you, each and every one of you. As kind of get back in the swing of the Modern Comic Mondaze, where we talk something about modern comic books and cons and all that other great stuff. But yes, Wookie Fodder, let's hit up this chat real quick as people keep strolling in here, because, you know, one of my best memories of C2E2 2022 was hanging out with Paul Dunn all weekend at C2E2, as we had an absolute blast with Paul popping up in numerous different places. And apparently he decided to light his beard on fire this weekend. Paul, that's going to be a special part of tonight's show. That was absolutely absolutely amazing. Come on, Mama's in the house. More amazing things to talk about with Come On Mama. Yes, who else here? Zuni. Speaking of Come On Mama and Zuni, all sorts of good stuff with them and the mini CEO hanging tough. Steve Messenger Art, good to see you, buddy. We got to talk soon here. We got some plans coming up. Who else in the chat? Yes. John's Comics with Kids says, hey-oh, what is good, man? Good to see you guys tonight. And let's see people rolling in. Wookie Fodder, what's up? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. JP in the chat. Probably getting ready to fire off a large string of dad jokes tonight. Literally just walked in the door and now need to go back out and get food because there's none in my house. Perfect. Bring me back a Whopper or some tacos. The secret word's always tacos, right? Bronze Age Nerd, what is up? Paul Dunn is in the house. Just wait till we get to this story all weekend long about Paul Dunn. You guys are going to love it. You guys are going to absolutely love it. Jay Hood, missed you, man. We'll have to catch you very soon. I'm sorry you couldn't make it, or I missed you entirely. I couldn't remember if you were made it or not. We will catch you on the next con. Looking for that. Johnny 5 Alive, what is up? Good to see you as well. Yes, no worries, man. This was last second. My plan tonight, again, to all of the whatnot purchasers on the auctions was to package all of them. I'm about halfway through, actually. I'm kind of proud of myself. Knuckled down really hard as soon as we got home and unpacked and packed whatnot packages all afternoon. We're halfway there, so we'll do the rest of them tonight before going to bed, hopefully. Should go pretty quick. The next show is the slab show that we're going to pack, and, you know, slabs pack pretty easy. That should be pretty good. The comic menu, what is up? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. The Legion of Comics, brother. What is good, man? Hashtag we are Legion. Savannah, speaking of the CEO, says, whoop, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Come on, Mama, yelled the secret word that everybody loves to hear. Tacos. Trail, good to see you. What it do? It is definitely Monday. Tell me where the Monday hurt you on the Ahsoka that's spinning back there. That's something like that. Brought home pizza and salad night. Plus, I got my first BCW slab boxes. BCW actually have supplies in right now? Holy moly. Double O Modern in the chat. What is up, man? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Absolutely. Make sure. Let's just, keep forgetting to do this. There you go. Double O is now definitely a moderator there. Trail was at C2E2. The place is so huge. It's hard. It is really hard to find anybody at C2E2. That is no joke. Alan Rue, good to see you as well. Thanks for being here. Good to see everybody here in the chat. That's catching up on the chat and everybody that's here. Let's introduce tonight's guests. We sent out the link to multiple people that are at C2E2. Everybody's pretty tired. Everybody's tired, pretty beat. But we got at least one right now here tonight. And I got to say, actually, before we introduce that person, let's introduce the co-host tonight. You guys have seen him back in the past on other episodes. I'm happy to welcome back our brother, Double O Mood. What is up, buddy?
How you doing, Andy? Good to see you, man. I'm glad you made it home safely from Chicago. I know it was a long trip, but it's good to see you, man. You look like you got a lot of energy today.
We're better now that you're here, man. It's absolutely. It's been a fun crazy packed weekend, and I know you even did a con too, so we'll touch bases on that in a little bit here. And you weren't, that's why you weren't at C2E2, you were doing another con. But the guest we have for the moment right now, let's get him in here before he has to go. I know he was going to cut out a little bit early for some family stuff, but we've got Daymares. What is good, brother?
Hey, not much. Wait, no.
Everything. Just
Yes,
everything.
yes, everything.
Everything is awesome.
And I gotta say, Paul, there are some pictures. I am going to have to send you the link to my OnlyFans to see.
This I cannot wait for everybody watching to hear the story of how Paul Dunn did but did not travel to C2E2.
The best.
Adam, so good to have you, man. This was your first C2E2 experience through the weekend. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So we're going to lead off with you, man. I definitely want to hear what your experience was like and what you thought of the convention.
It was nice. It was big, pretty packed, relatively so. I didn't get to do as much stuff as I wanted to. My feet got jacked up Saturday night, got some blisters on them, and I didn't get to do anything Sunday, and I didn't drive up until Friday. So I basically only had Saturday.
Yeah. It's tough. So that's one of the things progressively we learned over time is we tried to do C2E2 in one day when we first went on a Saturday. That didn't work out. That definitely did not work out. And you tried to do it on like a 2-day kind of stint, which is generally a little bit easier. But we didn't realize that when we picked a place for dinner and on the map it said a 13-minute walk, that it was going to be 95 degrees and 100% humidity all the way down and out. You had to chew your way through the clouds to get to this rooftop bar.
At least I had something to eat on the way there.
That's the tough part. That's the tough part. Poor Daymares waited an hour plus for his meal.
For a hamburger.
I don't think they made you pay, right?
No, they didn't. Or for both drinks I had. They gave both of the drinks to me too free. But, somebody else was picking up my tab anyway. They said that. So
I felt so bad because it was like all the food came out, everything except for yours. And it was like, wait a second, what's going on? And she must have been down there like wrestling pigs and like beating cows to get that burger out and on the grill.
Because a little bit later she came back, was like, you had the macaroni, right? And I was like, no, the burger. She's like, oh, I'll be right back. And then apparently they got it made and another server grabbed it and took it to their table.
Wow.
And then so they had to like make it, again.
For like the third time. Wow.
Yeah.
That was I will say though, that's the first time in a long time I've been on like a rooftop kind of punk bar with punk music, and I was really kind of digging that. And it was hot, it was nasty, it was sweaty, but still at some point you just kind of give in and you start enjoying it, right?
Yeah.
Let me hit this up really quick. Freebird the Nerd, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. Remember, the mission for 2022 is to support Mission 22. So all channel monetization and all super chats and super stickers are being donated to Mission 22 through the calendar year. We made that first deposit just before going to C2E2. I think we collected about $450, and we can do more. And if anybody is interested, the links are all down below for Mission 22. I would challenge anybody to at least go check them out and go and read the mission over there. And that is a great segue to talk about partnerships. We are now partnered with Gary at Impressive Comic Book Services, which is fantastic. So anytime somebody gets a letter from me from snail mail, they'll get a card from Gary. They'll get a little 10% off coupon from Gary. Really cool stuff. We'll work to promote Gary as much as possible on YouTube and on Instagram and wherever we're doing content. And Gary has us on his webpage as well. So that's really cool. And he shares out the shows. So Gary, welcome. And thank you so much for actually contacting me directly and asking if I'd be interested in partnering with you. So that's very cool. Gary is a phenomenal cleaner and presser. He does lots of everything from brand new, modern, new books on New Comic Book Day Wednesday, all the way to Golden Age books. Gary is the man for that. Gary's links are all down below. Check him out as well on all the standard social media platforms. Should have done that at the beginning of the show. But we have another guest coming soon in a little bit here, which I'm really excited to talk about. And I've said but 4 times already. So we talk about the heat, and I'll get into the chat here in a little bit. What kind of tree fits in one hand?
Palm tree.
Oh, son of a... Paul Dunn was Sarah's favorite C2E2 celebrity guest. Okay. All right. For the cause right there. Yes. Thank you, Two Brothers Comics. $5 super chat for Mission 22. Thank you, John. I got Till Valhalla hat and wristbands on the way. That is very cool. Speaking of which, I don't think I have the picture loaded up, but more wait. Yes, exactly.
You missed Luke's comment.
Luke's comment?
Yeah.
Whenever the cashier at the grocery store asks my dad if he would like the milk in a bag, he replies, no, just leave it in the garden.
Luke, are you Canadian, Luke?
Oh.
That's a Canadian thing, right? The milk in the bag?
Another super chat coming in for Mission 22. I will always support veterans. Preston, thank you for being here tonight. Hit subscribe, join this adventure, and follow us on all social media platforms, and we will get Moods and Dave Mears' information down below and added in after the show is done tonight. But speaking of heat, before we introduce our next guest, we're going to talk about just how damn hot it was out there. And I cannot believe I took a selfie of this. This was a little embarrassing, but that con floor Thursday was 95 degrees, like 80% humidity. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but everybody that was there on Thursday is like, no, you're pretty much spot on. They had the doors open, obviously, right? They had to let all the semis in so they can unload everything. They're not going to take the time to cool that whole building back down again. So semis leave, so they leave the doors open. My guess was that once everybody was done working, they leave the doors open so the night air can cool off the building and help cool it off. Problem was the temperature didn't drop at all. Not one bit. Not one bit at all. So that was kind of like a fun, embarrassing, like I can't even see straight. I'm so dehydrated, and it worked out. They definitely provided some frosty cold beverages later on. So before we welcome Beth really quick here, I'm sure there's Maine. So he's almost Canadian. He's almost Canadian. Nice. Bronze Age Nerd for Mission 22 and sharing your story. Thank you, Bronze Age Nerd. Mom, good to see you as well. $4.99 super chat for Mission 22. There it is. Blue Steel Andy. Hot Man Andy. The beard looks good. We got it all trimmed up. You have more hair in your face than on your head. This is what happens when you get old, right? It's morphin' time. Burke family, what is up? More and more people filtering in yet. So let's welcome this next guest because I'm really excited that she's able to make time for us. And not only did she make time for us tonight, she made time for everybody to come down to the convention as well. Beth, good to see you.
Hi.
Hi, Beth.
How's it going?
Hey.
Good to see you.
Better now you're
Can
here.
you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
I'm not getting yours. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Keep talking, though.
Must be an Apple thing.
You comparing apples and oranges again?
Yeah.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Thanks so much, guys. How's it going?
Not too shabby.
Better now you're here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That picture was epic, Andy. I was hot, and I'm always cold, so it was a hot one.
And that was when the air conditioning was on when you were there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not very, Burke. Just I didn't mean to interrupt, but
kind of. We're
two more lines down.
We're in. Oh no, it's too hot for that. It was too hot for that.
Yeah,
but
I didn't even get a buzz.
Hey, Beth.
Yeah.
Do you know why James Bond never farts in bed?
No.
Because then he'll blow his cover.
Andy has earned his title of dad.
Oh my god.
That joke's pretty shitty.
I love it though. I was trying to think of something like shaken and stirred, and I was trying to think of 00 something, but no, that's great.
I tell dad jokes. Sometimes he laughs.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, buddy, for the super chat. Also, 25% of homeless are veterans. That is also a number that is way too high and could use some more attention brought to that as well. And Mission 22 and Till Valhalla Project definitely work together to prevent situations of that nature. So yeah, the con floor was hot Thursday. It was hot Friday, and I feel like it was Friday afternoon before it really started to feel somewhat decent. And we were where Friday afternoon? We were running around all over the place. Friday was kind of one of those days where we didn't really quite know where to be on the floor. We were just kind of trying to experience everything. And I know one of the big topics going on this weekend was a specific book, which is sitting over here. So Friday, I actually posted that we were going to give one away, but Jay's stash loot was looking so good. He stole the focus out of the camera right there as they were live. We worked to do a giveaway of one of the acetate Ultimate Fallout 4s on the main stage, Beth, because we were doing a main stage show.
Yeah.
That 4 to 5 p.m. slot, we sat down and you did we're working on a live sketch cover as we worked through some challenges to auction off a couple of books, but then we were able to actually wrap that up.
It's sitting right next to me.
Is it?
Yeah.
So do you want me to show the picture that you sent me earlier, or do you want to show the book right now here on camera?
That's totally up to you. Whatever you think the people would enjoy the most.
Well, let's see where we were at the end of Saturday. So what we did, there were some technical difficulties. There's not a lot we can do about technology. When that technology kind of happens, it happens. You roll with the punches. You make lemonade out of lemons, and we rolled with it, right? We got a hold of each other after that, and we worked out a plan to finish that cover Saturday during the slab auction that we were going to do. We had scheduled a all CDC slab auction, and after we were done, this is I'm verklempt. This is where you ended the auction at.
Yes, and that's actually its current state right now. So I can show you guys how.
Okay.
Oh, my camera. Oh, well, hold on. Don't.
There it is.
Kind of, sort of. Sorry, guys. I have that feature on. Hold on. I don't know if I can change that right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I can. Hold on. You can see all my mess behind me, and
the Guardians print.
Well, yeah, that's in progress, but.
Wow. I saw a picture of that, and I didn't read the caption, obviously, because I didn't know that was your sketch. That's amazing.
Hey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good work.
That is awesome.
It's still going to get some detailing. The gentleman who ended up with the final bid was there. And so I asked him, I was like, hey, I still have more plans with this, but do you want to take it home now, or do you want to wait? And he said he'll wait and let it be in its highest glory that it can be. So I'm going to embellish it a little more, and then we're going to send it off.
So I'm really excited. We're not going to out the owner. It's somebody who works behind the scenes, but that book, once finished and shipped, is going to be hanging in a corporate office in LA.
Wow.
And that's what I've heard. So let's hope that follows through. But yes, he said he was going to put it on the wall in their office.
I know that individual and I are definitely going to be connecting through channels and staying in touch. I'm really excited. He's really excited about that because what we had talked about, kind of the amount of work that you put into art and how much we had a ton of fun the first time we did that. Was almost a year ago now.
It couldn't have been. It had to have been the spring, because that's when you got the quilt, right? Didn't you get the quilt this year?
It seems so long ago, but we took that piece and started it at $1, and then we realized that that's kind of a risky, kind of challenging thing to do for an artist that puts several hours or sometimes even days into a live sketch cover. So we sat down and we kind of talked about it, and you threw a very fair price at me and said, "Hey, please start it at this." Nobody blinked.
I know.
Nobody blinked, and they jumped right in. They jumped right into that. And at this point right now, we are 55 minutes into this slab auction. I'm starting to lose my voice. There's spit all over this phone. I'm going absolutely insane. I felt so bad. I had to sanitize the whole booth in there and scrub and clean everything, because literally this is going down. And it was like, we thought it was going to end. We actually overran our time slot by 4 or 5 minutes because they kept extending the auction.
Yeah.
And it ended for a very happy 3:30.
Yes. Yeah. And I did not know that my father-in-law was watching, but he had a number that he's like, I will not let it go for below this. So he had his own number in mind. And I found out about that afterwards. So I had no idea, but he's like, yeah, I wouldn't have let it gone for less than XYZ. And I was like, okay, thanks.
Well, I even got on there. I was like, oh man, I wonder. I kind of was starting to fall in love with that and kind of was interested. At the end of the day, after that auction's said and done, maybe you and I can hook up and do something on the side cover wise, because that Afra cover turned out epic. So female Indiana Jones of the Star Wars universe, just running full tilt, going for a Sith holocron, and then you've got the murder droids in the background. It's just phenomenal. Absolutely stellar idea.
I was like, as you were telling me this and as I was learning about it and like figuring out what she was going to be doing, I just kind of fell in love with her. She's a really cool character. And like, it was so totally worth it to dive into this section of Star Wars that I had not been introduced to before. So yeah, I'm really excited about it.
The camera does not do it justice. It really does not do it justice. This turned out great. I know that the new owners like really excited. We kept talking about it after the fact, after you left. But what else is really exciting? And you guys interrupt me whenever you need to bring something up. What else is really exciting is actually not too long ago, Uncle Skeffy Poo, Skeffer McSkefferson, got a hold of you, and you guys are gonna do a cover together too. And I don't want to spoil it, so if you want to share,
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Like me.
Oh, you're gonna show it?
Is that okay?
You do you.
All right. So this is all I had gotten done before. I was literally like working on this right up until the moment we were supposed to go on. So for those who weren't familiar, our show got canceled. Totally cool, whatever. But back in like a month ago, Skeff was at Fan Expo where I was, and he handed me a whole bunch of comic covers, and one of them he like went through them really quick, but then he's like, and who doesn't love Deadpool? So this might be a hot second, but we have,
oh my god,
we have Deadpool, and he's going to be saying never enough Deadpool. So there's all these other characters that he will have either like painted or drawn on to make them look like him. The Invincible cover poster in the back will be like scribbled on. There's a Wolverine like body pillow that's going to have like marker marks all over it.
And he has a Deadpool comic in his hand?
Yeah, he's got,
nice.
it's literally
Nice.
this one. So it's this cover. Oops, sorry. It's to make it even more meta. He's holding the one that's on there.
Oh my god.
So,
amazing.
yeah, I can't wait to see what this one goes for. I'm really
Hello
excited
Kitty
about
backpack
it.
that's got
Wow.
the Deadpool eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just really excited to get to do something fun. So
There's so much going on there.
yeah.
Nice. Wow.
So you
I'm
guys got the
excited.
first preview of it, other than anybody who was watching me work on it on Sunday. You guys got the first preview of what it's gonna be. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Before we introduce the next guest popping in that was at C2E2, I just want to close out kind of that cover topic or cover conversation. We're going to cover up the cover conversation to say that I want you, Beth, before you leave, to revisit this because you've got some really exciting experiences or really exciting interactions that took place this week. I can think of 3 or 4 off the top of my head that we definitely want to come back around and talk about, and they're big.
Yeah.
They're really big. So
Yeah.
this next guest though definitely needs no introduction from me. I mean, he receives the best introductions from everybody else in the community and his own streams. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got the great Biggie Shack, brother. What is up?
Yo, hey man, I only got a couple minutes. I just wanted to come in and say I really appreciate the invite to your show. I'm watching my kid right now, or I'd hang out. But I got to hang out with Damirs, and he is a pleasure. I sat right by him and had a meal and got to poke fun at him because we waited a solid hour for his fucking cheeseburger day.
Yes.
Yeah. So I even drank his bourbon and Coke. But yeah, when I was hanging out with Day and ComicManAndy, man, they made me feel like $1 million. And I just want to say I appreciate y'all, and hopefully I can come back and get y'all on my show or something soon. So
yeah, I damn near tackled you when I saw you outside. Like, it's Biggie Shack. We got to go full tilt.
yeah, man, Andy like shocked the shit out. He almost picked me up, I think, when he saw me. And 84 even told me later, he was like, I think Andy has a hard on for me because when he saw me, he like picked him up too. So Andy, dude, you're a special guy, bro. And I think the best part of you is you're the same guy I met when you had 200 subscribers, you know?
I appreciate that, man. It's not about numbers. It's about friends, right?
Right. So I'm gonna dip out of here, but I'm gonna watch the show. I'll check y'all out in the chat.
Yeah, I really appreciate you stopping by, man. Much love.
Man.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, dude. I'll see y'all later.
See ya. So that's a really good segue to talk about how important friends are at cons. I know C2E2 has kind of been one of the bigger meetups within the Great Lakes area for a lot of us. And unfortunately, you know, Paul Dunn couldn't. Come on, mama, took him on an adventure, and we are gonna get into this adventure real quick right here. We're pulling up Come On Mama's IG page.
I've decided I'm going to take Paul on many adventures and print off my own.
We've got to do this. We got to share this. The community needs to see how this went down. The community needs to be a part of this. So we're sharing screen. We're gonna try not to giggle ourselves all the way out of the chair. So it started with apparently Paul waking up. Paul needed to take a break and check out his stash he picked up at C2E2 for Friday, I think it was. No, Saturday. Come on, Mama, Zuni, and the CEO showed up Saturday, and they were able to stay. So, of course, whatnot bags everywhere. Those were epic. Everybody needs a bag to carry something in. And Paul made a very hearty appearance on the giveaway on Saturday because Friday was a little challenging. We gave away a copy of that UF4 book on Friday. We decided to go back and give away another copy of it on Saturday as well. And Paul made an appearance.
Popped in to claim it.
Yes. And it doesn't get any less funny. I'll say this. It doesn't get any less funny. I'm going to start crying with how hilarious this was. So we're at the rooftop punk bar and the waitress grabs Paul.
That's amazing.
He snuck up behind JP to claim his drink. Then he went and got a little too close to our waitress's cleavage, and she told him to take off.
Oh my God.
It was a super rowdy punk bar that was just a good riot, and so much so I guess apparently Paul's a really big fan of the Ramones.
Oh my God.
You can't make this shit up.
Wow.
This is dangerous. He's gonna show up and people are gonna because that looks like he just took a selfie. Oh, I mean, he has an alibi. He has an alibi.
It's the bar where it's like him holding himself.
Like when you cut out the handle, it looks like him.
Oh, wow.
This is Paul's. We're gonna have to ship this. We're gonna have to ship this traveling Paul to every convention in the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and apparently he's on the statue right down there on the bottom. It just kept going. There was that walk back from that punk bar. Paul found himself in many different places, and there he is going back to his room, checking out his stash for the day. I'm kind of jealous of the Black Adam Do You Poo variant. That turned out absolutely phenomenal. There is Uncle Skeff's variant for Something Is Killing the Children. That turned out fantastic. I didn't even get a copy of those. I'm so sad.
Any idea what the Spidey is right next to it?
Yeah. This is the Clayton Crane ASM 300 homage released by Black Flag there as well at their booth.
Because I think I won one.
Really?
Yeah, I was on Skeff's thing on Friday, and I never put my name in for the entries, but I think I won one of those. I didn't know what it was.
Oh, it's almost a sketch variant, kind of. It's pretty blank over there, but
it's cool.
And Paul apparently partied a little too hard. It doesn't get any less funny. And I hope Come On Mama's still in the chat because he had to get himself all cleaned up. And then he had to get ready for bed because there's Zuni.
It's amazing.
Oh, I can't. This was. Oh, and then I think there was a little bit more. Some of the books they picked up, she shared that she did get a copy of this. I think Uncle Skeff actually gifted her a copy of that book. So that was really cool of him to do that. And
I was the little spoon.
I gotta get back in this chat in a minute here. They definitely got some Scotty Young signatures too. I was very sad that I did not visit Scotty Young. I saw him at the restaurant twice over the weekend and just kind of nodded and never was able to make time to go to his booth and say hi to him because they are big Scotty Young fans as well as I am. And then a couple more pickups. And I'm leading to my favorite part. My absolute favorite part was where Boom Mike Skeff made an appearance.
Oh,
so, just wait for it. This is Come On Mama, Zuni, and the CEO cosplayed as me and Skeff. And you can see Paul's right there too. That's the best looking ComicManAndy I've ever seen.
Yes.
It's glorious.
Oh.
The comb. The comb is what makes it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't even find my comb right now.
Probably in your luggage.
But Come On Mama even wore the beard and everything for as long as possible. Wow. It was really hot in there. I mean, Paul looks like he's staying pretty cool back there, but hey.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have the one of Paul in the group of us and it looks like Paul is in the background?
I don't.
Oh, that was awesome.
I don't have that. I think JP I think JP took that photo. And if JP sends it to me really quick, I'll try to put it up. At JP, yeah. If he's still here and he can send that to me, that would be absolutely epic.
He just said this drive-through is almost as slow as they were with Adam's Burger.
Oh, he's live in the drive-through right now? Speaking of shenanigans and artists and making time to visit artists, welcome Aaron Bartling. What's up, homies? And this is a perfect segue to we were actually able to make several trips over to visit Aaron. Aaron was super busy, but I realized I was watching him work and I realized I had to talk to him, and I want to show what we have coming and what we have working on. Aaron was doing remarks all weekend long for the Little Red Ronin and basically anything else he had been working on, and the remarks are absolutely to die for. But I kept seeing him receive metal variants from Frosty Mug Comics with this absolutely to die for cover. These are limited to 50 copies. And Aaron is absolutely doing phenomenal remarks that jump right off the page. And this is just one. This is one example he had on his phone. There are other examples where the orange and the blue are flip-flopped a little bit, so the colors are almost inverted. I mean, this is beyond a remark. This is like actual artwork from the book going back onto the book. absolutely to die for. Aaron Bartling, a true amazing person. It was great spending some time with him. I cannot wait to receive. We actually picked up 2 copies from Frosty Muggs Comics and dropped them off late on Sunday, like, hey, are you, is this something we can work out later after the con? And he said, no problem. So I'm looking forward to that. Maybe in the future here, getting those, because the cover is just eye catching.
And that one in particular, like you had that. Hey, Aaron, it was so good to say hi again. That one that you just showed was like gorgeous. It was so good.
I mean, that wolf looked like it was just part of the cover, the one in the front. I mean, it didn't look like it was added on. Yeah, it looked like it just belonged there to begin with. That's awesome.
So the copies we got, we went to Garrett Gunn at Source Point first, because he's got a new signature that he debuted, and I absolutely love it. It's Garrett Gunn, and his signature is Bang, and it's absolutely it's awesome. So Garrett Gunn signed Bang on there, and Aaron's working on something for us. I'm looking forward to seeing, because I didn't ask Aaron specifically to do this or replicate this. He knows I was falling in love with that, and I like do kind of the same thing I talk with you, Beth. Like, do what your heart tugs at you to do, and throw something on there, and it's going to be awesome. And speaking of awesomeness, speaking of sheer awesomeness, Kavi, who's still 500 miles from home, making time to stop in and say hi. Paul says, "Is there an SY link?"
StreamYard.
Oh, Paul, yes, there is a StreamYard link. Does Paul want that StreamYard link? I don't know if he can handle it. He had 2 of those in the parking lot before meeting Kavi. After a dozen, you get a pretty good at. What did I miss?
Oh, BCW slab box.
Yep. I actually like those quite a bit too. They've been sold out for quite a while. We'll get Paul Dunn we'll get the link to Paul Dunn here in a minute. But Adam, I know you were gonna hop out here in a little bit, so if you want to touch base on a couple of things, we actually had an opportunity, and if you could talk to this for a little bit here, you and I got to sit down for several hours finally after a couple of years of talking. We got to spend a good deal of time together. So if you want to speak to that for a moment.
Oh, it was pretty nice. Sit down and just shoot the shit, for lack of a better term. After not ever seeing each other in person for a while, to sit down. We went to dinner with Kavi. Dinner was pretty decent and good conversation and stuff, and then just came back and sat down for a couple hours, talked away.
Pretty decent. That was the best dang burger I've had in a long while.
It was a good burger.
It was a Wagyu burger.
Yeah.
Wagyu beef. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like, $26 burger. This better be really good. It was really good. Yeah, and that was really kind of a tough night, because that was it. That was pretty much the Sunday night, last night. That was the end of the con for pretty much everybody. Most everybody was leaving that day or that night. A handful of us were leaving the next day. But this is a really good segue as Paul kind of gets that. Like, we got 31 people watching live, because here comes the man, the myth, the legend, the Paul Dunn. Here comes the man, the myth.
Hold on one second. Oh, man. What's going on, guys?
What is up, Paul?
Not much.
It was good seeing everybody.
You wouldn't believe what all you missed. What all you did that you don't remember that you did.
Sounds like a normal weekend. I don't know.
Paul, keep talking, man. This is your floor. I'm loading up that photo now.
Oh no, I know Mama and Zuni wanted to get in here, so I just wanted to make sure they got in also. But I had to say, like, I was actually crying. Like, I was crying so hard and laughing so hard all weekend. I worked a lot of overtime, and every now and then I just stop and get tagged in a post, and it was hysterical. Oh man.
You said, "Come on, Mama and Zuni want the link."
Yeah, I sent it over. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Perfect. Thank you. I was perfect. So we've been ribbing you for several months now, actually, to come to C2E2, and you're like, "I'm trying. I don't know if it's gonna work." And then at one point, you sent me a text message that says, "I'm at the airport." I'm like, "All right." And he's like, "But I'm at work." I'm like, "Oh no."
Yeah. Yeah, I work like I'm an electrician, so like I'm at Newark Airport every day. We're building the new terminal, so it's a big tease. I can see it, like, you know, there goes my flight.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm going to get that photo loaded up because that photo is probably the most epic way to put the icing on the cake and cap off that conversation and that discussion. Because, and while we're talking about that, we'll go ahead and add them here in just a second. Here we are with Come On Mama and Zuni.
Hey.
So, Paul, what would you say was your favorite part of the show?
You know, I don't remember.
Nice. Come on, Mama, how you doing? We can't hear you yet. Have you said anything?
Oh, while they work on that really quick, here's the photo that JP and Jimmy got, and this is next level creepy. Next level creepy. Look at this.
There we go.
Right there.
Looks
There's Jimmy, there's Paul, and then right behind Paul is like another Paul.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Paul's creeping on Paul.
So I'm like notorious for photo bombing, so I thought it was like really especially hysterical.
Oh my God. Wow.
I don't have any words I don't have any words to speak how well that just played out and how well that worked. Because we really missed you, man. We really, really, really missed you.
I missed everybody.
That was really
You
fun.
were there.
Well, you know, like kinda. I'm trying to cure a hangover now.
Exactly.
Amazing.
While you guys keep conversing, I'm going to go ahead and highlight some of the comments in the chat as I still struggle to get my voice back from this
I'm
weekend.
sure.
Come on, Mama, Zuni, that cosplay, that was legendary. It was amazing. When I first saw the picture, I didn't know what I was looking at, and I had to read the caption. Yeah, I had to read the cap. I was like, wait a minute, that thing's weird about what? And I had to read the caption to see what was going on there. Amazing work. Amazing work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's when we got to the con on Saturday, we went walking in and we knew that Skeff had a show about that same time. And we hadn't told anybody what we were going to do. So we just come walking in. Andy had texted and said he was at the Whatnot area. So we said, okay, we'll just head that way. Well, we see Skeff on the main stage and he's, doing his thing with Otley. And, they're just chattering on and on. So I just kind of walk up and what you can't see in one of those pictures is I have a boom mic with me made out of a baseball bat like what he had. And then we just, made some fake boom mic on it and wrapped some RCA jacks around it. So I just walked up next to the gal that was standing behind the ring and just held out the boom mic and pointed it at him. And you could just see the wheels kind of turning. And he was like, he just kept looking. How dogs get that look where they, kind of, and then it dawned on him what it was.
What was happening?
Yeah. And then he just lost it, and he ends up pulling me up there on the stage while he's doing this interview with Otley, stops doing whatever he's doing, hugs me, and then starts looking at all the, stuff on the back of the shirt. It said boom mic. I had my little battery pack bag, and it had boom mic supplies on it, and then my little antibacterial said Magic 9.8 beard oil on it.
Oh my God.
So and then of course we made him some cue cards as well, but I'd forgotten to show those to him until later on. But we had a good time with it.
Yeah, we saw the cue cards in one of the pictures. It was I think I saw the pictures of the beard oil as well. It was so.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't miss any details. So well done.
No, I was trying. Those eyebrows were hot, though. I'm telling you that right now. I don't know how you boys do it with the real beards. That's not for me.
Yeah, mine gets so long, and I just gotta go.
Yeah. A foot or so of mine off.
That thing shed everywhere. It looked like I had chest hair when we were done.
Yeah.
God, wow.
Yeah, that's I think that maybe we can zoom in a little bit. No, zoomception there.
Here, wait a minute. I'll show you.
Oh, you do it in reverse, it kind of works. Absolutely phenomenal job with that. That turned out great. And the Skeff's cue cards were exactly like the 7 or 8. There it is. Hold on, let me pull this up.
Yeah.
There it is. Share those.
And then, hold on, we got the. Oops, sorry.
Wow.
I can hear this, by the way.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. I was sitting there thinking, oh man, what are all of his little lines? Sorry.
Oh, so good.
Stickers are a nice touch too.
Yeah, I had to add the stickies. You know, it's beautiful humans. Oh, did I get it? There we go.
Let's go.
Yep.
And then the last but not least, not to mention everything else, but the really real.
You put this on everybody.
Yeah. There it was. So I had my little handle. I could hold it up.
Oh,
those are fantastic.
Oh, you're a really good snuggler, by the way.
Yeah, for real.
I'm so happy that you understood. Like, I am the little spoon. All right, I know I'm 6'3", but I mean,
it was hard to top the Paul Dunn show, so to speak. It's hard to top the cosplay that Zuni and Come On Mama pulled off, and the CEO of theirs.
Nobody mentioned that I had the saga with me. I had the trade paperback with me. Nobody even said.
No, nobody said a word.
I did when you showed me it, and I was like, "Well, that's perfect. That just caps it off right there." Which is actually
to get him to do this little tattoo.
Oh.
I saw that tattoo.
That's actually perfect because we rushed home today. Speaking of saga, we rushed home today to unpack, to get obviously some other things done, and then we realized we wanted to get this put together and hang out for a little bit. I found a package in the mailbox, and I'll go solo screen for this one because you guys know how much I love saga and some of the other things that I've done. I was actually shocked that it finally happened, but a written script.
Oh,
this was one of the gifts from joining Brian K. Vaughn's Substack. So 175 out of 500 assigned script for Saga Chapter 1. And I am going to be reading this. But so they advertise that as all the founding tier or first day members would receive that, and they would receive a piece of artwork from Nico himself. And these are all individually done for every founders member. But you know what they didn't announce that they were going to do? Send a signed copy, first print, Saga #1.
Damn.
what?
Wow.
And I don't have a signed copy at all. So that was absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to stop stealing the limelight right there, but that was an absolutely
that's awesome.
That was a phenomenal way to arrive home after a massive and amazing convention experience. And if now that we pretty much have the bulk of everybody here and we are 48 minutes in, this is not going to be a short show. We're going to continue staying live until either people stop showing up or people are ready for bed. And I just, that's kind of how you can't fit this whole convention experience into a 1 hour segment. So it's going to keep rolling. Appreciate everybody here hanging tough and staying with us. So can we go around the horn here? I know Double O, you hadn't been there. I know Paul Dunn spent more time there than anybody else, so he should have a pretty good story. But if Jamie or Adam, before you leave, if we can hop over to you, I'd really enjoy if you could share probably what one of your highlights was of the convention itself.
Oh man, just everybody hanging out, and the two dinners.
Mm-hmm.
The one dinner that there was, most of us there, almost all of us there at, that was hanging out, and then the smaller one, and I guess there was 3 altogether. Yeah, all 3 of them. The one Friday night, Saturday night, and then just the 4 of us Sunday night.
Yeah, because the first one,
they all had their, they're good moments to them, you know, but they were all completely different.
Because Friday night was at Fat Pour, right?
Yes, and then we went up to the birthday party.
Oh, that birthday party. That's a whole we can segue into that in just a little bit here after we go around the horn.
Which was normally not my cup of tea, that scene, but oh yeah. Kavi's mentioning the Rye cover. I don't have it up here. It's a flight of stairs away from me. Or show it.
Oh, that's right. You have to post that on IG later on, man.
Yep.
So Fat Pour was Friday night. What was Saturday night again?
Reggie's.
That was it. Reggie's.
Yeah.
So it's already tough to remember. Then Sunday night was we walked over to the Marriott.
Yeah.
Food's good. The food's really good down there. But we can segue into that Friday night birthday party. I mean, I felt like I was 19 all over again. Good gravy. So what do I mean by that? I didn't know what we were getting into. Somebody just said rooftop bar. My mind immediately goes to comfy chairs, cool breezy temperatures, like umbrella drinks, you know, all of that other like fun kind of gimmicky stuff, right?
Thinking more like what we went to on Saturday night.
Reggie's, yeah.
Yeah, Reggie's. I was thinking more along that lines than I was.
So we get done at Fat Pour, and they're like, hey, it's just the next door over. They're not kidding when they say it's just a door. I don't even remember seeing any signage really. I'm sure there was somewhere. You leave Fat Pour, you turn left, you'll walk 15 steps. There's a door, and it's just like the most John Wick or Matrix-like entryway to just, there's nothing in there but a couple of bouncers in suits and elevator shafts. That's it. Like, this is kind of interesting. Like, so what's the password? What's the magic word?
And then, you know, we mentioned it was there for that birthday party, and there's like, oh, okay, go on up to I forgot what floor.
Yeah, we showed up, didn't even know what to do. JP's still waiting on his food. Daymare's level quest. Oh, good gravy. We didn't even know what to do, but we got lucky when we first got there. I think it was just Sarah and I at the moment, my wife and I. The One True Nerd King was there, had arrived just before us, or had come down and was going back up, and he's like, oh, yeah, they're with us. So the bouncer's like, oh, yeah, go ahead through. And I'm like, well, that was relatively easy to infiltrate this base of liquor and alcohol at the top of a roof. And I did not know that elevator went all the way to the top. Lickety split, mind you. And then the doors open. Well, when you walk into the elevator, it's like the club is in the elevator. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is
loud.
It was super loud, but I'm like, I'm like transported back to be to my 20s again. I'm getting all pumped and hyped. This was dope. And this was Nerdy Girl's birthday party at the VU rooftop bar.
Yeah, View
roof. It opens up and you walk out and it's hot and it's cramped and it's packed and it's just one big giant bar and it's not even really that big of a space. And it spills out onto the patio. And there's Micah Souza, or if I'm pronouncing that correctly, how is their names pronounced again?
Yeah. I think she goes by Soso Micah.
Sosa Micah. Thank you. I don't know why I get them backwards or something like that. There she is, cutting it up on the floor. It's hotter than hell in there. She's wearing a full leather jacket. I'm like, how is she not dying in this? I guess that's her thing. She really likes to dance. And that's what a lot of other people are doing. And everybody that had talked about going to the convention that we all know about on YouTube and IG and everywhere else, they were all there at that point. And that was like probably one of the coolest things is you got to spend time with everybody in one place. You couldn't hear it. You couldn't really talk much, but you got to hang out and spend time with everybody. Sosa Micah, that's it. Geek Aficionado's got it. You guys got me on that. Just remember that we got into a party that Javon Jordan. Yes, that's the other part of the show. Javon Jordan couldn't even get in.
Oh boy.
We segued right into that party night, but hadn't even gotten to Beth yet. So that party went for quite a while. Some people left because it was too loud. Other people it was getting late. but it was fun being able to hobnob with everybody kind of all in one spot. And speaking of kind of spending time with a lot of people all in one spot, let's segue over to
$55 drink.
Oh, yeah. That's no joke. Those drinks were pricey. But speaking of spending time with a lot of people in one area and hobnobbing, kind of, let's roll into Beth, and I want to hear what Beth has to say about one or two of her favorite con experiences this weekend.
I think just being able to be a guest. I never get that opportunity because I'm usually vending, and by the time I'm done drawing for the day, I'm just kind of exhausted. So I take over, all the sales and stuff so that my husband can go wander and look. But I got to be that person that got to wander and look this time. And just finally getting to say hi to some of the artists that I've always meant to, or I've been hearing the name Garrett Gunn for several conventions now from Andy, and finally getting to meet him and say hi. I think just being a guest was really cool. So and just we shook so many hands this weekend. It was so cool to just again meet people that I've heard so much about, and then finally get to talk to them or talk about potential projects or other stuff like that. So yeah, for sure.
You're not giving yourself enough credit. What happened this weekend?
I didn't know if I should. Okay, Andy's outing me on this in the most positive way possible, but I was incredibly lucky. I got to, other than getting to sell with him on whatnot, I got to drop my portfolio off, and I ended up getting selected for a Marvel portfolio review. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Get it, girl.
Wow.
So it was just, it's made my year. I got to sit down with a gentleman who's part of hiring over there, and he went through all the stuff that I'd submitted. He talked about what direction I wanted to go in and what I would need to alter in my work if I wanted to pursue submissions for Marvel. So it was just incredible advice, and he was so kind and so gracious with his time, and we were slotted for 10-minute increments, and he probably spent a half hour with me. So it was just kind of amazing. So I can officially say that Marvel has seen my work.
Yay!
I know.
Awesome.
I know.
I spend time says volumes about your work. So
Yes.
Thanks.
I'm really sorry for outing you on that.
It's okay. I just don't want to be I don't know. I feel like it's bragging. I feel like there were so many submissions that we saw, and I dropped mine off first thing on Friday, and they just had these storage bins that people were just dropping books into, and it was full anytime I went in there, and I can only imagine how many times they had to empty it. So it was just a really, really validating moment of the weekend.
Well, I'm glad I got that print before you got famous. Damn it. I wish I had it at the con. I could have had you sign it. Shit. I'm out money now. I'm going to have to pay for it.
No. Totally. You bring it to another con that we're at, and they will make sure that it gets signed. But it's just, it was just really
It's not bragging. It's networking.
I suppose.
That's a good point. Yeah, and that's kind of one of those things that I think a week or two ago you were like, oh hey, this is going on, and I'm like, even if you don't want to work with Marvel, you should still do it.
Andy, you told me about it. The only reason I was at C2E2 this weekend because you told me about it.
Did I tell you about that, or did you tell me about that? Okay.
No, you dropped me a text one morning and it was like, hey, they're doing this at C2E2. And I was like, oh, I gotta buy a ticket now.
Well, I mean, even if you didn't necessarily want to work for a company, just getting an interview with that company puts your name in the mouths of people that do hiring, because these people that do this work at Marvel, I have best friends that work at many other publishers or many other retailers, and it's kind of one of those things and I even told you, I'm like, Marvel's workflow and work structure is kind of crunchy. And that's kind of why I'm like, go see Garrett Gunn. Go see Garrett Gunn.
Yeah. So
Like, go talk to Garrett this weekend.
And, you know, the information you gained from that,
yes.
Right.
you know,
Mhm.
that in and of itself will tell you what direction you need to go to, you know.
Absolutely. And he was so like for every, and I shouldn't like the critiques were obviously critiques, but for every critique he had, he was like, this is only the thing that you need to do if you want to pursue work with us. Like, he's like, none of your work right now needs to see that. Like, you can keep doing your thing. It's just if you were to choose this lane, then like start working on that. And he kept complimenting the stuff that I had in front of him. And like, he was just so genuinely nice. Like, it was just such a wonderful meeting in general. So, and yes, that information is just invaluable. Like, I don't know how many other people that submitted stuff will get an opportunity. They had a note about like still, reviewing stuff, just not in person. So I don't know if those folks will get like an email with notes about their portfolio or whatnot, but I was just very, very lucky in the right time, in the right place. And Andy, I have you to thank for letting me know about it. So.
Well, I mean, when you kind of told me what your travel plans would be like for that convention, I'm kind of like, you know, I'm not telling you to go, but I'm kind of telling you to go.
Well, but it all worked out because then we got to do our whatnot twice technically, and like it was great. It was a great weekend.
Yeah, the only thing that would have made that weekend better is if we would have gotten Wink Inc. into the group for one of those outings. It was so fast paced, so busy, and the schedules were flying so hard. I think I only got to spend maybe 10 minutes with our brother Wink, and I think everybody, I don't know, it's kind of tough because I guess we probably should have spent a little bit more time creating a group chat that included all of us instead of having 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different group chats, because that's kind of how it went. And I know Bolo himself, welcome Bolo to the chat. He got sucked into a much more toxic video here for a cleanse. Great seeing you. Hey, yeah. It's kind of, Bolo can attest to how chaotic schedules can be on a con floor. And it is kind of crazy. And it's one of those things where, for example, I don't have the picture. I don't have it loaded up. I wish I did. Daywalker is a very valued community member within IG and YouTube and always on there. Him and I, Daywalker, have been trying to get a beer together at the yard for 3 years, trying to make that connection. And we talk about it, and then we get lost and we get sidetracked. And like, where are you? Finally, this year, we made it happen. We made it happen thanks to the Whatnot booth, because that was a very easy to find place, very comfortable. That carpet was so nice to stand on. Oh my God. Helped your feet and knees out. And it just kind of became a melting pot collection point of friends and family. And I think that's kind of what they were going for when they did that together. And it made for a really good community kind of collection point where like, okay, we're all here. Let's make room for other people and let's go do our thing. I got to spend a good hour almost with Daywalker, just having a pint and talking to him about Star Wars and some of his friends. That was good. And I don't want to hog up too much more because we can definitely roll into Paul, man, I got to hear.
Unfortunately, I got a bolt.
Yes. Okay, sure.
Lovely, app where I can track where my kids are at and they're almost home. So
you left them in Chicago?
No. I didn't take them to Chicago.
Oh man!
But thanks for having me on, Andy. And
Adam, man, thank you so much.
Great to see you again, Paul.
Oh, always.
You're more talkative than you were yesterday and the day before.
The music was too loud. You couldn't have heard him anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Talk to y'all later.
Adam, thank you so much, man. It was great seeing you.
Great seeing y'all.
Paul, I don't care if you were there or not. You were there in spirit. We gotta hear a little bit more about your feelings on over the weekend and kind of what your favorite part of your cutout.
Honestly, like after that first post, I was like, okay, like somebody photoshopped me in, and then I saw the second one, and I'm sitting there like,
yeah,
oh my God, they actually brought me to the con.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, like, again, I was at work, so like my reception is terrible, but every now and then I'd get like a little ping and I'd be like, ooh, what do I got? Oh my God.
It's amazing.
So
I made sure when I cut that out that I got really close to the line so we could try and really make it look like you were in the photos with us.
Yeah.
Oh man. I'll have to do like a whole post session.
So if you can't come next year, you're going to have to send me a good headshot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same time as MegaCon next year, but honestly, I really loved Chicago last time, and I don't know. I'll be in New York.
So this seems where the community might get divided. Isn't MegaCon a Reed Pop con as well?
C2E2 is Reed Pop, and Fan Expo is MegaCon. So they're
okay.
against each other.
Okay, that's highly unfortunate because I picked next year to be the year to go to MegaCon, and now I don't know because I can't miss my C2E2 friends.
Go to New York.
Well, that's got to happen as well. We did talk about that, Blue Hellion, about doing like a Battle of the Beards, whatnot stream. Yeah, and it was just kind of didn't quite come together. It's because we were all moving in many different places, real versus fake individuals together for a Battle of the Beards involving Nerf toys.
That could be fun.
We could pull that off
at the yard.
Once again, Winking, thank you for everything, man. Have a great night. Thanks for stopping in.
I miss Alex.
Yeah, I miss Alex a lot, and I think Alex was only there for one day, if I remember correctly. I think he took the train, but
yeah, we ran into him on his way out, right?
Yeah. Saturday.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so the food was good. The friends were even better. The time on the con floor was amazing. Spending time with Aaron Bartling and getting some remarks done with him, spending time with Frosty Mug Comics of whatnot, and spending time with Skeff and spending time with everybody else. That was absolutely phenomenal. So moving right along, Mama and Zuni and CEO right behind you. The three of you each individually, I gotta hear. Besides the hilarity of the Paul Dunn incident, what were your guys' favorite takeaways? Things that are basically going to become core memories for you guys after this.
Oh man, I think this year for me, I mean, and we talked about it the whole way there. I couldn't tell what I was more excited about, if I was more excited about going and getting signatures from Scotty Young or Jenny Frizen or whoever, but coming up and surprising you guys with the cosplay and then being able to see everybody and you know, taking Paul along for the ride, and then knowing, you know, Beth was going to be there too, because we've watched, you know, all of her sketches with you, plus, you know, stalk her on, you know, Etsy and things like that. So, you know, being able to just do all that kind of stuff, you know, you know, you guys, it sounds silly, but you guys that are on YouTube, you're kind of our celebrities. I didn't want to go see, like, you know, Rosario Dawson would have been cool, but I was there to see the YouTube people, because those are our kind of you know, our local celebrities. So we were kind of excited about that. So I mean, you know, meeting Scotty Young and all that was great, but hanging out with you guys and just kind of wandering around and experiencing the con through your eyes, being part of it, that was priceless.
Zuni, man, go ahead.
I thought seeing Scotty Young was pretty cool. I love his art. I like his little evil smiles that he puts on his characters.
Yeah.
But I mean, you guys, of course, seeing Skeff's face whenever he finally realized what was going on, that was a good thing. I mean, I knew Skeff before he was Skeffy,
yeah,
or Skeff's Comic Knowledge, or, you know, Mr. Famous. He's a great kid. I think a lot of him, and it was nice to see his face light up whenever we showed up, and yours, Andy.
Yes.
You know, you've always we got onto you through Skeff. If it wasn't for Skeff, you know, we wouldn't be here with you.
We wouldn't know Paul.
That's
we
right.
Wouldn't know Double O. We wouldn't know Beth.
But it's weird how this YouTube community, all through a kid that I've known for, you know, 10 to 15 years, has evolved into friendships that, you know, will last a lifetime.
Yep.
So I think getting with everybody at the con makes the year worthwhile.
Agreed.
Agreed.
I feel like I missed a family reunion.
You did.
Yeah.
You
No,
did.
you were there. You were there.
Yeah, I know.
By the way, Paul, you also hogged the back seat. Because you rode the whole way with me home, and I'm like, can you please? He's touching me.
That's good over.
Oh man,
I'm glad that made you feel good, Paul. We was thinking of you, buddy.
It was absolutely hysterical. Like, I kept having to like show my wife. I'm like, look at where I am.
You are now Flat Stanley. Flat Paul.
Flat Paul.
Flat Paul.
All around the world.
That's right. That's right.
The
My
Flat Paul
family-
Project.
Oh,
Yes.
My family does that with people that are missing at like gatherings and stuff. So like I love it. It's hysterical. Like that's amazing.
Oh, and I swear, Paul, that we did nothing lewd with your photo.
On camera. I mean,
Now, see, what you don't know is that this fella here decided to put it up in one of our doorways. So I was walking out of our kitchen, and I just turn around, and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's Paul!"
it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Oh man, I hope that reaction doesn't happen like when we all meet again.
It's gonna be like, wait, is this paper Paul or is this real Paul?
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
All right,
What else-
Savannah.
What did you like?
Well, I was excited that I got to meet Scotty Young and David Nakayama, and he
Mhm.
signed one of the Hellfire galas. So I have one of my favorite characters. But I think what was really, really fun though was that I got to meet some artists that I have quite literally been following since I was like 12 or 13. And they were there, and I'm like, oh my God, I get to buy their stuff. And I bought too much of their stuff.
No, that's part of the con. Ask Paul about commissions.
Oh, don't. I'm not touching that one.
Oh no.
On
Oh no.
that note.
Let's ask Paul about last C2E2 and how many boxes we had to ship back to
Yes.
him.
Yes.
Would have been easier to ship 2 short boxes, maybe. I don't know.
That's kind of what we ended up doing. And man, I regret not listening to you about that 8 billion genies information.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, that turned out pretty good there, man.
Yeah, I just saw a graded signed one by CBC Esco for $1,000 today. Yeah,
Wow.
$30 book. I'm sorry.
Is that the ash can, signed ash can?
Yeah. That was I have a signed one left, and I have 2 of the unsigned. So, yeah.
For those
Nice.
of us that aren't familiar, what does ash can mean?
Basically a preview. It can be just 1 or 2 pages from like the book, or just like art.
Cool.
Yeah. This one looks like a full-size book though.
Yeah, it was pretty close, I think.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I think my favorite. I've got 2 favorite things.
There you go.
Nice.
I like that.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Wow.
And didn't you get some of those remarked too?
Yeah, I got another one remarked. Yeah, let's see.
Paul had the foresight to get things remarked when they were picking it up.
I was gonna send it to CGC and have like one of the only copies, but I got Charles Soule and Ryan Brown to do it.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm
Nothing
standing
crazy.
up in front of that,
Yeah.
looking at that.
Yeah, we were right there by the booth. They had a bunch of them. Well, not the ash ones, but
Yeah, Soul's line was pretty long out there in the Artist Alley.
That's because of this, I think. Like I've talked to him at New York in like 18, I think, and he actually remembered me from way back when, because he did Puppet Master, which is really obscure. It was in Action Labs, but it was from the movies way back. And I really liked this run, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you're the Puppet Master guy." I'm like, I don't even look the same. But
So you said Soul's line was long. How were the lines for some of the other guests that were there? Like for Scotty Young, like did you have to wait a long time for his autograph, or?
We got so lucky.
we completely lucked out. He was actually doing a panel, and we'd gone over it because Kyle Strom was just on the other side of one of the lines, and so we went over, and there wasn't anybody over there. and he had, some, excuse me, some twig variants and stuff that he was, selling himself. So we went over there and picked up a couple of those and, talked to him for a little bit. And then we walked back over because Scotty was supposed to be back, in like 10 minutes. And I just happened to put my bag down right next to his booth. And then his assistant, or the gal who was helping him, was like, well, he'll be right here in a minute. And I'm going to start the line right here. And we were like right in the next person.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
we completely lucked out. So, but right after that, it started going around the corner. So
50 or 60.
yeah. And we lucked out with Ryan Stegman as well. He was just getting ready to go live on Whatnot, and we just happened to be there chatting with Skeff right before they were going to go live. So I got some signatures from him. But I mean, really, it didn't seem like, it didn't seem like it was horribly long. But I tell you what, we walked by Chris Claremont's line a couple times, and he had a steady line of people
all around the aisles.
Yeah, it was a pretty long one.
He's a really nice guy. If you could have caught him at the restaurant right after.
Yeah, we talked to him last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I walked by. I must have seen him 2 or 3 different times at the Arc Bar eating dinner or lunch, and it's kind of like, I gotta be somewhere right now. I wish I could actually stop and of course, you always kind of have that in the back of your head, like I shouldn't bother somebody right now.
Right.
Does anybody know what he said to get him in hot water?
He's in hot water?
Yeah, there's something he said at one of the panels. I didn't catch what he said.
I remember Chris Claremont. I saw a story about Chris Claremont being potentially.
Maybe that's what it was.
For something.
That's where I'm mixing it.
But
yeah, I don't know.
There's been a lot of drama on everything today, so
yeah.
There's been a lot of drama this weekend, and we will touch basis on some of that coming up here in a little bit. And you guys can feel free to bow out whenever you need to, or play a role in that if you'd like. But I'm going to segue into. I had a couple of favorite things before we get into some of that other stuff. One of those was my CEO of the Comic Dojo down here has decided to continue cosplaying, and she does
looked great.
She does a phenomenal job with it. She was in the parade with the 501st. The 501st actually asked her to apply and said that she should really look into it. She's really excited about that. More importantly, though, is she got to meet the one and only mighty Paul Dunn.
I was there at the time, and he kept his hands to himself. Andy.
He was very respectful.
We promise.
Very respectful.
She just said that to me a little bit ago because I completely forgot about it. But she absolutely had a blast cosplaying, and there we are at the Whatnot booth.
Awesome.
And her whole, I mean, like a lot of other cosplayers, the entire outfits are almost handmade, like 95% handmade. She did a really good job, and they actually have the 501st has an action figure box.
Yeah, that's my favorite one there.
That's so cool.
And of course, our CEO here is a little on the smaller side, so the box is obviously being built for everybody from Chewbacca down to
yeah.
I say they need a stool in there just for us little shorties that are our fun size friends.
That's not a bad idea at all. I really enjoyed that. But we made the actual effort this year. We aren't signature collectors. We don't chase celebrities. We don't really get into any of those lines. But this year, for the first time ever, they on short notice, they announced Rosario Dawson.
Mm-hmm.
And after umpteen months of talking to Beth about how amazing her Ahsoka print is, we're like, we have to get one of Beth's prints signed by Rosario Dawson. Now, this is probably like a 5-minute story, so bear with me here. We bought tickets. I was kind of shocked. They're not cheap by any means. And I'm like, you know what? It's an experience. Who cares about the money? It's just an experience. And you guys know me. I am about the details. I am about if you're 15 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're 15 minutes late, you're fired. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I all piss and vinegar got up Sunday morning. It's like, we got to go, hun. We got to go. And of course, I didn't sleep well. I stayed up late hanging out with everybody Saturday night. And this poor girl, my wife, I pulled her all the way through the con floor, like damn near running because there's going to be people there. No, there was nobody there. There was nobody there until 9 a.m. We sat there from like like 8 a.m. And now obviously we got in from the exhibitor's standpoint of things. So we were there for a solid hour with breakfast and coffee before even somebody that would talk to us would show up. And I could tell she's a little perturbed that I went to this level, but I'm like, we don't really do things like this. So if the CEO of the dojo is going to get to meet Rosario Dawson, I want her to be first in line. And
good husband award.
Like, especially if she's cosplaying all the time as Ahsoka. And I made sure to try out the new chairs. And this is a ridiculous picture of me actually like enjoying these little click chairs. They're like CLIQ. I found them on TikTok, surprisingly. And they pack up to about the size of a water bottle based on the way they're engineered. They're only about yay big. They each weigh about 3 pounds. And they worked really good for that.
They kind of rock and hold like your center of gravity or something, right? Just a little bit.
Well, they're just like a stretchy chair. So it's kind of like however you decide to lay in it is kind of like how it conforms to you. And you very quickly kind of find yourself almost laying down and falling asleep like I did here because I didn't get much sleep the night before. That was quickly, we were pretty comfortable. It was pretty quickly kiboshed when they decided, oh, hey, okay, we're going to move you guys. We're going to move the line into the interior. And I'm like, this is a thing. I'm like, why can't I just sit out here? There's people to talk to. There's things to do. And I didn't know this, but they move you into this completely guarded interior area with hot air, not a lot of room to maneuver. And I get it, like with pictures and cameras and everything else, like it's important to control situations in a certain way. And we still had fun with it. Those chairs paid off in dividends because as you can see here, everybody else is standing. We actually rotated out with a couple of the other people in line so that they could sit down too. And the best part is line etiquette was on point. Bathroom breaks, yeah, we got you covered. Not feeling good, go get a little air. Come on back. You're out of water, definitely go get more water. Line etiquette was like amazing at this because everybody's there for the same thing, and they all want to get through the line efficiently, and they all want to. They all have the same goal. Now, hopefully, I remember to upload the picture. Yes, we fast forward to getting there, and we stand up, and we're waiting, and obviously, there's delays. There's always going to be delays, right? She had, I think, 400 items that she was signing before this for charity. So she did a massive charity signing in the back, is my understanding, before she even started this signing. And lo and behold, eventually things got caught up, and she comes out, and it's time. And I was so worried about being nervous. And I got there, I was like, I'm too tired to be nervous at this point. I've been sitting here for not burning any energy, and somehow I'm completely exhausted. I bring our own oil pen, our own oil marker, thinking this was going to work out, and it didn't. It didn't. But thankfully, the handler quickly stopped her and said, hey, hold on. Here's another marker. This one's going to work for sure 100%. So in the center there, you see the oil paint pen that I brought. The oil kind of like sucked in on itself and kind of like congealed and like quickly disappeared. It didn't spread out very well. And the handler said, the handler actually mentioned that you can take that off with alcohol. And Beth agreed with that. And Beth, the piece is actually with Beth right now. You're going to do some testing and give it some time and see if that center signature will come off. And the one on the left is the signature with the correct marker. But that's Beth's piece in the metal 11x17. And she was pretty shocked. You obviously, you guys, we all understand that when you're with a celebrity that's signing, sometimes they can only take in so much as they can take in otherwise you kind of get sensory overload, right? But when she saw that and she stopped, she signed it first, then the handler stopped her and said, hold on, we need a different pen. Like, please, like do this again really quick. And she stopped and she looked at it and she paused. And you can kind of see her taking it in before she did the second signature. And immediately, like the pro my wife is, like pro level, my wife ducks, dives, and dodges, and right underneath my arm, slides her phone so delicately on the table, and Beth's video is playing of her actually doing the chalk work for this ginormous piece. and she's already got the volume all the way up. Video's already playing, and she's just like, "Here, this is the artist at work." And Rosario stops and like picks up the phone. And she's like, "Oh my god!" She's like, "This is chalk." We're like, "Yep."
Sarah's my hero.
I know.
She's the
Indeed.
CEO.
Amazing.
That is why she's the CEO.
Yeah, for real. No,
Where-
my hero.
So we got probably like an extra 20, 25, 30 seconds, whatever. At this point, you can't, there's no concept of time. She's taking this in, and we had Beth and I had the idea of like, well, let's gift her a couple of these prints. So on that stack of that metal, we left her 2 11x17s of that print, and her immediate response to that print was like, she went to share a thought, and then she's like, "Oh no, right there, there's her name right there." So her next question immediately was going to be like, "Who's this? What's their information?" Beth's information was right on there, and she's like, "I don't know if it was like, I don't know her personal details or anything, but I heard, 'Hey, honey, come here, check this out. This is all done in chalk.'" And this individual comes over and looks at this, and they're all like, "Wow, this is amazing." And then she looks and sees your name, Chalk Girl, and she's like, "Okay, good." And that was it. That was kind of the
So cool. So cool.
Right on.
and
Celebrities, Marvel. What's next?
Like I said, I'm
Guys,
glad I got mine early.
It was a great weekend.
Yes, it was. Oh, that's so awesome.
that's kind of the long version of it is. And at this point, like, I'm kind of delirious because of no concept of time. We're tired and everything. And I'm like, did that just happen? So I immediately text Beth and I said, "Help." Because there's this signature on here that's like congealing and drying up. And I'm like, "Help." And Beth said it'll be all good to go. And I'm going to hit, it's been a long while since we hit up this chat. Bronze Age Nerd is still hanging here tough, talking about the positive side of C2E2. I do want to segue into some of the other things too in a minute here. And made a joke about Tessa Thompson going back to Men in Black. I mean, Persons in Black. Oh, who was that? I missed that.
Chris
Claremont.
Claremont.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Interesting.
okay.
I'm gonna have to read that article. Among other things, I posted a video. Ooh, I don't even need to read the article now. We just got to go see Bronze Age Nerd's video right there. Yeah. Solo Wookie in the house. Can't wait to see Solo Wookie again. I wish he was able to make it to C2E2, but I completely understand why, timing and everything. Chalk Girl's art is crazy good. This is just the beginning, Sicko.
Thank
Just
you.
the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, watch some of those videos on IG, Cyclotron. Like, it's amazing how it goes from like nothing to an amazing portrait. You'll be mesmerized.
Well, thanks.
It's for sale. You can get it right now.
That's right.
Yes, it is.
That is true. You booked it to her booth. Why hobbled? Yeah, so Sarah did have some blisters going on after all of the parades for the 501st Legion. And me, you guys know, I high-stepped it and went to town because you're going from the front all the way across the entire con floor to the back corner to get to that signing area. But this is interesting, Sicko. Am I really sounding a little low, or am I? Is that you just kind of ribbing me? Am I sounding too loud?
Or is it someone else that he needs?
I think it's 00. He's just a little bit muffled.
Gotcha. I was having that problem earlier.
That's better.
Okay, cool.
So I kind of want to get your guys' take too before you guys bounce out, and feel free to bounce if you want. We talked a lot about the positive things that happened. And the last positive thing that I wanted to talk about was, for me, I discovered the tribute to Fallen Heroes Ultimate Fallout 4 facsimile reprint that Black Flag dropped on Friday morning. Now, I didn't know this was dropping. I didn't look ahead. One of the things that I like to do with conventions is I know I should be researching. I know I should be looking up these things and knowing and having a plan. I preach that in my top 5 tips for comic book conventions is having a plan. Well, I kind of like to be surprised sometimes too, right? I just use sign language. Sorry, getting distracted. Use sign language sometimes because my hearing is 100%. Sicko says, understood. You can't wait to get Dunn's take about the show. He was all over that show floor. So what had kind of become a plan kind of devolves into I like to be surprised sometimes, but originally we tried to come up with an idea of friends getting together and kind of walking around to the retailers and just talking about what books we would like to pick up, right? We wanted to team up together and spend time as a group and kind of like a core family unit like we've done in the past. But we wanted to do it going around to different retailers, seeing what was available. And we kind of did at first, like Unknown Comics was there, Darren's group, and kind of looking at some of those things. And then somehow we kind of got lost and kind of got disengaged and didn't see where everybody went. So Sarah and I just kind of kept walking around, and we walked by Black Flag's booth. I had overheard somebody saying that was someplace that we wanted to check out, and we saw a couple of images up, but this I don't recall seeing up. So we kind of walked around. There was nobody there to answer any questions, so we left again. Then after leaving again, you kind of do the same thing where you kind of find the haunts that you saw people at before, and you're kind of looking for them again. At the end of the day, we walked around and there was like, we couldn't find anybody. So we just kind of made the command decision of, we've seen pretty much everything else that's out there. We know the Comic Mint and we know how they run things. And we knew that Javon Jordan was going to be there and Aaron Bartley were going to be there. We knew we were stopping by there at some point. I didn't really see a cover that we were super falling in love with, so I was okay with going back and finding something. So we made the ultimate decision to wind up at Black Flag's booth and looking to find out exactly what was going to be releasing. I got in line not even knowing what was going to happen until somebody next to me in line said, "Oh yeah, they're releasing this." And I immediately to myself was like, yes. That's why kind of Sarah comes with me, because usually when you go to conventions, they're limit 2 per person or 3 per person or something like this. I'm like, yes. Immediately in my head, I ingrained, we're going to buy 4 copies. That's kind of what I was basing off of what I've seen at Comic Mint was 2 per person. So we sat there, we waited, and we're looking for pricing information. We're looking for release information. And I don't know that we were looking in the right spots. Somebody finally, we overhear somebody say, well, they're releasing 750 copies. Then we finally hear that somebody in the line says, oh, it's going to be $85. So I don't know if Black Flag was releasing this right away or it was kind of trickling the information in. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, $85? $85 is that's more than double most convention exclusives. Most convention exclusives are between $20 and $50 essentially, right? I think 50 is usually the highest, and sometimes that's Comic Mint, and it's usually a magazine, one of the Star Wars Insiders or something like that. Or it's something really limited. So at 85, I'm like, that's pretty high. But my brain immediately goes to, this would be a great opportunity to grab something to do an auction for Mission 22. That's immediately where my brain went. Till Valhalla Project and Mission 22, this would be a great opportunity. This is an acetate cover that's a tribute to fallen heroes. And I can't remember exactly what they say on the grading label, but it's pretty much what it boils down to, is a tribute to fallen heroes. And I immediately this is going to be a great opportunity to auction one of these off, because I see the cover and I like it. I'm really digging this, and I get that vibe of this could be a really good book for the convention. This could be a really good, and I didn't know it was going to sell out at the time, but Sarah and I were, I want to say like 8th and 9th or 9th and 10th in line, something to that effect. And I'm thinking 4 copies. Okay, 4 copies. We're going to get 4. I'm doing the numbers. I'm doing the math. And then I got to thinking, I was like, okay, so out of that 4, and this is why I have 4 ingrained in my head, was because of that. We want to do a follower giveaway on our Whatnot main stage, because the cover's releasing at 10 a.m. essentially is what they were going to do on Friday. So we're going to do a follower giveaway on that main stage stream with Beth, because I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity to do a giveaway of a book that I think is going to be hot, and it's going to draw a lot of people, draw a lot of attention to Beth's artwork that we're going to do. Zuni, you can't do a $5 super chat live while you're already here. But so time creeps a little bit more. The line continues to build up. And then you're in the right line when people like Gem Mint and others like Comic Tom and Davis Ryder and other people start lining up behind you. I was like, okay, so they kind of are interested in this too. That's pretty interesting. And I overheard them actually talking about the whole Comic-Con 101 divide and conquer, like friends always do. They team up, you get a couple of people, you split up. One person waits in one line, another person waits in another line, and you buy max quantities, and then you trade at the end. You buy whatever, 2, 4, 5, 6 copies. That's been a thing for years that everybody's worked on. And as I'm standing there in line and the line continues to develop, I see Chip Gittler. The line continues to form around. Chip's exactly across from me. How's it going? And then pretty much I remember looking at my clock and it was roughly 9:40, 9:42. They started selling. So almost 20 minutes early, they started selling the book. And I don't know if I've always been told that they don't really start selling till 10 retailers. And I don't know if that's because the convention opens up at 10. And I don't know that there's any hard, fast rule or regulations that says they can or cannot do that. So they decided to start selling a little bit early. And I think that was because of the sheer number of people that were in line at that point. But when they started selling, they opened it up and started pulling out the machines. A person that I don't think any of us even knows, that I'm not aware of, who was wearing a mask and glasses, that was behind me by 2 pieces, steps out and walks up to the corner. This person walks up to Skeff and a bunch of other people that were up at the corner over by another booth and just talking like, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you, all this other stuff. And all of a sudden I see that person cut in line. And I see like the line like congeals. And I don't know what happened. I can't contest to why that happened, or I can't speak to exactly why that happened. All I know is at this point I've had my morning coffee and my morning breakfast, and my guts are on a clock. So at this point, we're 8th or 9th or 10th in line, and I'm like, yes, we're gonna be out of here. We're gonna go, and I'm gonna get right to the back to the bathroom. We're gonna drop our stuff off, and we're gonna be back on the con floor, and it's gonna be amazing, right? And I think how everything panned out was it was like an additional 40 minutes of waiting. So from 9:42ish, I remember seeing on my clock, to like 10:21, 10:22. Then the book sold out. Book sold out in less than an hour. That's factual. I know that much. I know that we saw large boxes depart that booth, but I also know that there were many different variants being picked up. So I know that many different books were being loaded into boxes. So there's a lot of questions, and the community has a lot of discussions going on, and there's a lot of not good information, not good feelings, and there's a lot of healthy conversations that need to happen more. And what I'm trying to get at and say is that there's a lot of people, not everybody, there's a lot of people out there jumping to conclusions and creating false narratives. And I was really upset about this yesterday. Not yesterday. Was it yesterday night? Yes. I think it was Saturday night and Sunday night. I was so upset at this that I saw Keep It Thorough Comics was doing a live show, and so many people in the chat were creating false narratives and telling non-factual information that I had to get. I said, let's talk to somebody who was there. I was there. Like, there are people trying to say who was and wasn't in line. There are content creators within YouTube and whatnot and IG that weren't even at the convention and being thrown under the bus instantaneously. So it was immediate pitchforks and flames, and people were going out for anybody that had any kind of clout and following. That was crazy. So I was pretty upset. I'm pretty upset because I fell in love with this cover. And now this cover is actually being destroyed, and it's toxic.
Oh my gosh.
People are there's a lot of conversations going around. Well, what Marvel is going to do, what Marvel's going to say this book is an illegal book. I don't know. There was I was on Thorough's channel for an hour last night, way after my bedtime, just kind of learning a little bit from them about what's going to happen with the book. And I don't know. It's kind of like I was stalemated with there's questions that I can't answer, and we're not going to get any answers. And you just kind of find, as humans, we always look to find answers. And then if you don't have them, you kind of dance around the topic and dance around the topic and dance around the topic. And it's kind of frustrating that answers from Marvel and or CGC will come at some point. But at the end of the day, the community has turned what for me was a phenomenal release of a book that I'll say that Black Flag owns the majority of how this went down, and that they probably have some answers to deliver or provide. But now it's like we went to wanting to, so like I said, we had that idea of 4 because we thought we were going to be limited. When finally we get through everybody else, you get to the bulk of the people are buying 1 or 2 copies or 3 or 4 copies. I got bit up on FOMO a little bit. I'm going to be completely transparent here. We overbought. We ended up buying, I think it was 14 copies. I don't have a receipt because I told her, no, I don't need a receipt. I just need to get out of line and get out of the way for other people. because we're looking at boxes and boxes and boxes of this book still available. Like 14 copies. We gave one to an artist friend that I'm gonna leave anonymous now at this point because I don't know where this is going with this cover. That person was working a booth and was not able to be a part of the line or anything because they're working there. So there's a copy we're giving to an artist friend. We wanted to do that Friday giveaway because that Friday show didn't work out. We did another giveaway of that book on Saturday, and then we were planning on auctioning off one for Mission 22. So we ended up buying 14. And I feel like I got caught up in FOMO, and I feel like I feel a little gypped right now. I feel a little like I felt so bad. The book felt so not fun to look at now at this point. Like I went over to CGC's booth and I immediately submitted them for grading because I don't know what's going to happen, whether it's going to be green label or blue label. But I wanted to be emotionally separated from that book this weekend, and the quickest way to do that, because I was planning on trying to submit one and get a 9/8 for Mission 22 to auction off. There's that one. I definitely want to try to shoot for a 9/8 for my own personal collection because everybody out there is like, nobody's buying this for their PCs. Nobody's buying this for the PCs. I am. And I'm trying. And that was kind of the frustrating thing. And that's I wanted to talk tonight about the positive things that happened today. But the problem is we did that for an hour and a half, and we kind of have to address this a little bit. And I want to hear your guys' take here in a minute. Because one, like Black Flag owns a lot of this. And I think they even responded with changes or ideas of changes on how they're going to do their next release. There's answers that we need from Marvel. There's answers that we need from, I don't know about CGC has to answer anything specifically until they hear from Marvel. And I'd like to hear Paul Dunn, because what Paul and Double O have to say about grading some of these. The trick of the matter is we're stuck where we can't get factual answers. And what people were saying about other people being online or this, at the end of the day, random people that we don't know. It's not just influencers. It's not just YouTubers. It's not just Whatnot people. It's like, this wasn't condoned or sanctioned by Whatnot. People need to understand that.
It's a selling platform. So is eBay. Yeah.
It is, right? It's not like eBay condoned this, but like I was there from the very beginning on Thursday. None of this was the idea of Whatnot or condoned by Whatnot. And people might get upset with me and bash me and blacklist me for defending Whatnot. Of course I'm going to defend something I have fun doing at Whatnot. I mean, seriously, when I know factual 100% proof that Whatnot had nothing to do with this, but they're like, well, so-and-so was wearing something. Doesn't matter. That individual may have created that item. That wasn't a Whatnot branded item that Whatnot created. And people aren't listening, and people aren't actually kind of digging in and looking for facts. And the facts are, there are several of us that were actually there. And those people that were there with me, I asked if they could come on tonight. And they said, I greatly appreciate it, Andy, but I think I'm going to pass. I don't want to get any deeper into this. And that's bad. This should be a platform for a healthy topic, healthy discussion, because it's okay to disagree. But the problem totally is now that it's become so toxic that people aren't even willing to actually have a conversation anymore. So without getting too much more long-winded, we know what's happened. We're there. It's kind of like we're stuck looking for some answers from places that are bigger than us or people that are outside of our control. We can only control what we can control at the end of the day. And what we control here on out is how we act and how we care for our friends and how we take care of our friends and back them up, and how we handle and carry ourselves as individuals at conventions. And I will say this, every one of those people that were in line, they're pretty much my friends. So it's like I know and understand what they're going through. And when those people are going to discuss or share information, they will. And if people are going to be upset that that's not happening, that's fine. And that's on those people. But I'm not going to chase answers. I was there. And I want everybody else to know that people didn't have ill will. This wasn't done with malice. It wasn't done. In fact, I think the bulk of this is because they were trying to do kind things for other friends and other people. And like we said, Black Flag owns a lot of this. There may have been conversations ahead of time, and I'm speculating a little bit. There may have been conversations ahead of time where Black Flag maybe tried to pre-sell or pre-order or try to pre-do something like this to achieve a level of efficiency in the movement of the line to have a better customer service experience for everybody. I don't know. I don't have those answers. But I know, Mood Buddy, you have a couple of really great points towards this, and I really want to hear about this when it comes to the retailer side of things.
So as a retailer, I mean, it's up to them how they want to sell it. However, at a con, in my opinion, the right thing for them to do is, one, have limits for people, like how many you can buy, like what you said with the buying two, and it's up to them to sell those things to people in a fair method, you know. And if they're going to sell things before the show or whatever, I mean, it's their mistake by doing it out where I mean, I hate to say it, like, people make deals at shows before the con show opens. People sell stuff, people buy stuff all day long. That's how the business works, right? And it's going to happen. So if you let the assumption, nothing like incorrect may have happened at the whatever, how it got sold. People were walking away with boxes. We don't know what was in those boxes. It could be boxes of dollar books, it could be anything in those boxes, but people assume that these things were what they wanted to buy, and they didn't get it because that other person walked away with it. So we have no idea what they bought. So, we're jumping to conclusions, not we, but people are jumping to conclusions, saying that this person did this person did that. And like you said, without having facts about what actually happened. And I think that's really, until we hear from Marvel, until we hear, like you said, from CGC, if we do hear from them, I know people are saying there are some, exactly right there, what Taylor is saying. Anytime somebody walks away with 75 to 100 books, when there's a big line behind them, it's bad optics no matter what happened. And that does fall on the retailer. The retailer's responsibility, if they care to take care of their customers, is to do things the right way. And that's a personal business choice. If they care, they'll do things the right way. And if they don't, then they're going to continue to have problems like this.
Yeah, the optics is a really good point to talk about. It could have been an entire short box of dollar books that the owner brought along with him for Joe Schmo Schmuckatelli at the front of the line, and they had a conversation before. But the optics, you're right. We don't know 100% of what was in that box. You can kind of see some of the weird acetate because it bulges out a little bit. But at the end of the day, you're not getting the ability to see an X-ray vision through every box and see what's going in there. I know a lot of people were buying that ASM 300 homage, that like Virgin variant. A lot of people were buying that as well.
Also wasn't $85.
Yeah, exactly, $85. And we'll get to the point a little bit on some of the pricing there. Bronze Age Nerd here with some great news. Bronze Brother was gonna attempt to be here tonight. He had some commitments that had come through or popped up that he wasn't going to be able to make it. But I know Bronze has been staying close to information and kind of building the bigger picture of this. So for these guys that don't know Bronze Age Nerd, you got to subscribe to him, got to pay attention to what he has going on, because he's actually working to safely, through healthy discussion, actually kind of weave this together and remove the false narratives, remove the weird optics, and actually get down to the factual side of things. So Bronze, we really appreciate you working hard on that. I do, because I know that even though I was a little frustrated there, I still have 100% love for everybody that was there in the line. Besides the weird, awkward guy that got around behind me that didn't even bother to say hi or anything. I'm like, at least say hi when you cut in front of me. Something to that effect, because that person, I just like, that was a really weird, awkward feeling and situation. You heard Solo Wookie, Marvel, Black Flag, and CGC have all made statements. Marvel basically said no to the acetate covers for Boston that were supposed to be there. And Black Flag actually, I believe, released information that they're going to be releasing more acetate covers come Boston. So this is going to get a little tricky to navigate. CGC said they know and are well aware of books they have graded.
Yeah, they did come out with a statement. I mean, they're a grading company at the end of the day. I mean, it is what it is. People keep saying the 4 staples. If you look at Stray Dogs, the ratio, 4 staples, it's an actual ratio off of it. All acetates are 4 staples, but that's a totally different, like, that's a, whatever. People are going to say what they're going to say. At the end of the day, they weren't there. They don't really have attachment to the book. If you want it, you're going to buy it. You know, I mean, I'll be honest. Like last C2E2, I was after the We Live medal, and I don't know if you know or if you're. Oh yeah, you know, you were there. You were aware.
I bought some.
I was at the front of the line. If you go back to the videos of that entry line of C2E2 day opening and all that stuff, I had aftershock straight in my vision. I was the second person online, and my buddy was first, and my other buddy was the third. The buddy who was number one online got the last copy. We were literally the first people at the booth. There was 100 copies. How did that happen? I know 2 retailers, and I know exactly who they are. I'm not going to name drop, but they bought so many copies, and they were reselling them for $300-400, like right off the bat. Like that's a dirty move, you know.
Wow.
Maybe it's just something where. Yeah. But, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know what they did differently.
What's
You
that?
and I came back the next day, and they had more available.
Wow. Yeah. I know people.
well, that I actually talked to that gentleman at the booth a little bit, and I said, hey, like I'd like to buy one for Paul. Like we talked about that. And he's like, okay. He's like, no, I'll just set. I've got one specifically for Paul because we've been having this conversation through the convention. They do things a little bit differently there after Aftershock.
Yeah. And they're constantly changing, and he's learning because they've never had big sellout books. They've never had this and that. That's a totally different conversation, to be honest with you. But I think it's just the practices in general of vendors. You know, it would be great if there was some way to hand out like numbers, like you're this online, because at New York, similar situation. ComicMan dropped a We Live medal on that Saturday, and it was like they dropped that news 9:00 on Friday night, and I was like, I have to be there. Got there super early. I left my house like 6:37 in the morning, and I mean I'm 30 minutes away from the city. It was stupid, but I got there and I was like 80th online, and I didn't even know if I was going to get the book because people just bought off right off the bat, and I watched people cut into line, and like you were saying, it started to congeal and everything. I was panicking. I almost knocked somebody out over a comic book. Like I take a step back and realize what I was thinking. Like
it's just a comic book. That's a great point.
Exactly.
There's really good comments coming in the chat that we want to get. I definitely want to get to and hear from you guys about that. But like I had seen somebody using a comparison of a DC acetate cover that only had 2 staples versus a Marvel versus an indie. And I think that might be just a publisher procedure where DC, if they're doing an acetate cover, they want only 2 in. So it's nothing is standardized. That's kind of the problem is that different publishers can do different things and what they want, and then different retailers can control their releases in different ways. Nothing's really standardized. And that's kind of the problem. So nobody knows what to really expect sometimes. And Solo said CGC knows that they're well over the books they have graded. But did they say they were going to do anything about it? I don't know. So what I want to allude to right now is talking about transparency because of how emotionally heavy those books got. I went to CGC and I sent the rest of them off to CGC. My goal is just get those gone, get them graded. When they come back, we're going to look at setting up a Mission 22 auction. And I know I've already committed to sending a graded copy to Wink Inc. because I know he was looking for copies. He did not get an opportunity to get one. So I promised Wink Inc. that I was going to be sending one his way as well. He's left already, so he's not here to comment on that. But and I don't know. At the end of the day, I saw something I was going to fall in love with, and I felt like it was going to be a really good book at the convention. I knew other people were going to love. Some of these comments, though, if you like the book and the hype don't matter. Yes, exactly. I agree 100%. Clarifying last night, a lot of people don't like these influencers and just needed an excuse to go after them. So, like I'm telling you guys, like algorithm and people here watching and anybody watching on the replay, it's not just influencers. It's not random people stepped out of line, walk up across and got in, or they walk around a booth and act like they're coming from a different direction and sneak up. Oh, hey, how are you? How's it going? I've never met you before. And then all of a sudden, bam, they're in line buying. It's not just influencers. There's a bigger picture here that people kind of missed. And that's why I was really getting miffed this last couple of days, is because there's a lot of information not coming to light. People were hiding behind their logos and giving their 2 cents. Interesting.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What does that mean again? Hiding behind their logos and giving their 2 cents. Oh, like people that weren't there? People that weren't there?
Yeah. I was going to say, though, also, there's one point that everybody fails to realize. Even some of those influencers, this is their job. This is how they make a living. A certain one went on and said they got 75 copies and admitted to that. It was for friends, but they kept a lot and this and that. I mean, there's a point of greed, but also at the same time, business is business in some instances. If they were there, they didn't cut the line, the retailer dropped their, their limits and all that stuff. I mean, that is on the retailer, in my opinion, but this is what she does for a living, or, this person does for a living. Do I like that idea? Like that they got 75? No, I don't. But who am I?
That's kind of the whole topic of it's okay to disagree and have healthy debates and conversations of like, if you don't agree with that, then this is where we're having that platform where we can talk about that. And it's nobody should be chastised because they don't agree with something that's happening. And nobody should ever be chastised if they do agree with it, if it's something is happening. If they're, like you said, I mean, if some of these people, that's their job and that's their career, they're going to hustle hard. People fucking hustled hard this weekend, and I'm not going to discredit those people for hustling hard and trying to make ends meet and doing their job. Not discrediting those people at all. I love all of them. They're all my friends. But it doesn't mean I have to agree with what they're doing. But it also, me as a human, I have to understand that I have to have a healthy debate or healthy conversation with them. And everybody knows me out there that like, I have a very long fuse. I don't really get upset. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I would rather sit down and talk with my friends and kind of see and learn what's going on. The problem of the matter is things got so toxic so fast. People couldn't sit down and have those healthy conversations, have those healthy debates, and things can't come to light. Things still can't come to light because of how upset people are. That's why I'm upset. Everybody's creating false narratives and creating a very defensive stance in the community, so it doesn't allow for people to stand up and have a healthy conversation. And that's why I'm here, and I wanted to make a point to do this. I wanted to make this show tonight about all the positive that happened, and we did. And we did that for quite a while.
Look at everybody here.
And everybody, like, you guys are free to bounce. You guys are free to bounce whenever you want, but I'm not going to stop until the chat stops chatting. That's kind of where I'm at tonight. This is not a healthy place where the community is at right now. And it's not necessarily because of the actions of a certain few. And it's not necessarily the actions of a retailer. More importantly, it's the actions of the larger community at whole that doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. There's a lot of people that are upset because they hear this or they see that. The problem is they don't have 100% of the facts. I don't have 100% of the facts either. I don't. And I'm okay with that. And I'm going to rest well tonight. And if people are upset about that, that's fine. They can be upset about that. Just like how I was upset about getting text messages and direct messages from people in the community calling me out, saying I was a part of that and telling me that I was in the wrong for doing that. And I wasn't even. There were people that weren't even at the convention that had that happen to them. Not even remotely within a 2-hour drive, and that happened to them. Bullshit. That's utter terrible treatment of other people without even giving them a time of day to share, have a healthy conversation, share what they know factually. People are immediately shut down. And it's utter crap. And it's not cool. So I want to again say thank you to Bronze Age Nerd for picking away at this and kind of building this. I don't have the capacity to do that, but this is why we're here kind of talking about this. Black Flag completely dropped the ball, putting out a 30-minute response video where the dude came off like a complete psychopath. I couldn't even finish that video on Facebook because I was 15 minutes into this and they still hadn't reached the topic. 15 minutes, like I'm exaggerating slightly, 10, 11, 12. I tend to exaggerate a little bit. But like when he still isn't to the topic of what the original discussion was supposed to be, I'm out. I am not going to be emotionally invested in this. I'm out. So I get that where that's coming off. Skeff pushed over women and children. That was a statement that was used in the community. And I can 100% factually say that never happened. That never happened.
I've seen and been there with him before conventions. If there's something he wants, he's going to wait in line way before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Skeff's an early riser. We all know Skeff's an animal and he's a machine, but he's not pushing people over. He's not even hot stepping like I was to Rosario Dawson. He didn't. That's just, and I have proof that Skeff sent me up. Yeah, so Sicko is basically saying that this is BS. What somebody's been saying. He has proof. Skeff sent him a package of free Venom stuff, and when he was at the convention, made sure he got his package. So, like, this isn't the last we see or hear of acetate covers. Yeah, we're kind of getting caught up in the chat here. Like we said, I think Black Flag already announced more acetate covers.
He's got it though. The backstock marketing is genius. Leftover copies that were supposed to be destroyed, just using them to do something else. That's honestly a brilliant business strategy.
It's a brilliant strategy. I want to handle it the right way. Sorry, Andy.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
You need to handle it the right way. There's a great comment by Bronze Age, and it says, I'm glad the community is coming out with their opinions, but just because they think it's wrong doesn't mean that they get to be toxic about it. That's just as bad. 100%, you're not making the situation any better by being toxic about the situation. If you want to make things better, make it better with your dollars, make it better by voicing your opinion in a logical, proper discussion. But doing this and calling out people that weren't even there, how is that going to help anything?
Yeah, and the only reason why I haven't bounced to some of those comments is I don't want to miss.
Sorry.
No, I don't want to. I'm gonna follow the comment train all the way down so that we're kind of touching bases on a lot of this, because more importantly, like the Keep It Thorough show, I got to give credit to Keep It Thorough and those guys on there. Like, they were trying to talk and educate and go over a little bit more about the Marvel side of things, the CGC side of things, and it just kind of became one of those things where you dance around it. But they should have done more to talk with it and okay with Marvel. Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, fair game. Shiny suits. Mutant Beaver was selling Boom exclusive for 4 times the price on Boom's website. They should have been expected from a store that is known to be over. Yeah. Black Flag don't care about you. I got to be honest, that right there, Black Flag don't care about you. Remove Black Flag and say comic book retailers really don't have the customer at the first and foremost thing. What do they have at the first and foremost thing? Paying their bills, taking care of their employees, managing their business. That's first and foremost. Let's be honest. Customers aren't the first thing a retailer takes care of. It's their employees and their business and their families. I get that. I totally get that. And it's very rare that a retailer will sell out completely that soon on day one. We don't know. There's questions to ask there about whether or not that was manufactured or not, but there is a lot to unpack. And it'll happen over the next couple of weeks within the community. And it's when this level of toxicity dies down so that people can be comfortable. We need to have crucial conversations. And then to do that, we need to make a space that is safe for people to have crucial conversations and not be attacked and not be thrown under the bus. Because at the end of the day, it's just a godforsaken comic book or multiple. You know what I mean? It's just, we shouldn't be acting like this to each other over a comic book. Time and time again, see Black Flag Comics screwing up and not managing the line and product. Well, that's that kind of is a narrative that it's not even a narrative. That's factual. That I'm hearing from other people in the community that's their experiences over time, and that's actually happening. Shiny Suit says Black Flag won't change until we stop buying. So they did announce that they were going to create 2 lines going forward. This was on their Facebook post. They're going to create a line for retailers, influencers, and flippers, and they're going to create a line for collectors. Now, what they're trying to do is appease to people, and this might not be palatable for everybody and it not be the right decision, but I'm very interested to see how this goes. Like the release of 350 copies coming up for Boston, they're planning on doing a line for collectors that's going to have 100 copies, 1 per person, 100 people get copies.
Where did that information come? Because I saw that, but it looked like somebody made it a text and took a screenshot and then just put it out on the internet, to be honest with you. So I don't know what's real and what's fake and what's
okay. If that was,
I'm just asking because I mean I've been working and like I've seen a lot of stuff come through and it's like, I mean I saw somebody photoshopped with a whole lot of books and people were playing it off like it's a real thing, and it's like, no, look at the picture, it's a clear Photoshop. The books are different size, but people believe that was a real thing. Like
if that was not from Black Flag, I really need to know about it because I thought Black Flag released this on their Facebook page. I remember scrolling through it.
I honestly, it's just annoying to see at this point.
Yeah. And Bronze Age Nerd has a really good comment that I want to get caught up to here in a minute. In my mind, it was a short box of Torok ones. I'm pissed. Where I'm at with this is I do not care who bought what. Yes. I care about vendors giving everyone a fair deal, and I care about people cutting in line due to privilege. I'm with Bronze Age on this because you know what happened for people that are just showing up is I was there and I heard from Chip and a lot of the other people on the back of the line or towards the middle line when they started dwindling down. And I think it was right before Chip Gittler was getting to his copies. They had another person. So mind you, we're talking probably 25, 30 minutes into sales going, 40, 45 minutes of sales. We're at the tail end here. One person or two people in front of Chip asked to buy out the remaining quantity. So there was somebody else that was still in line. So that means there was opportunity abound for everybody from the start to where Chip was. And Chip almost got hosed here. And that person asked to buy out the remaining quantity and asked for a certain number, and it wasn't what the person was asking for. So they're scrambling around the booth is what I'm hearing from people. And that they found another box. They found another box of copies and said, oh, this was set aside for somebody and it didn't work out, or they didn't pick it up. And they grabbed a chunk out of there to fulfill that other guy's order of however many it was and paid him or had him pay and send him on his way. So now there were more copies that were available. Ipso facto, not ipso facto, but whatever. All of a sudden, at that point, somewhere within that time frame, they turned around and said, okay, well, now we're going to limit it to, I think, was it 2? It was either, I think it might have been, they limited it to 2 per person, but they raised the price to 100. That's terrible. I've never been at a retailer at a convention that says, oh, here's my last copy. I want $400 or I want $100. No, wait a second. That's no bueno. So my understanding from Chip was he was already eyeing a 9.8 the whole time he was in line because they had those available for 500. And I hope Chip doesn't get upset with me for kind of sharing this story because he already kind of shared it a little bit. We're just kind of rehashing what Chip had to share. Chip, when he got there, was told that 500 was an incorrect price. It was going to be $700 or $750. And Chip said, no, your guy right there just told me it was 500. And he's like, I'm not paying more than 500. I'm paying 500 for it. And that's when that whole kind of situation happened. So there's some really weird shit that was happening in that booth that's not explainable and not acceptable. Like, you're going to leave something at one price for the first 80% of the people, but in the last 20, you're going to raise it 20 or 30%. That's really shady. And I don't want to dwell too much on it. I want to get through some of the comments. Care about vendors giving a fair deal. Care about people cutting in line due to privileges. Yeah, the cutting in line thing really irks me too, because I'm not gonna dwell too much on it because it's just kind of one of those things where it's everybody's time. Who cares? I don't care about the books, but people's time is now being wasted. I do think some of the purchasers should take their own share of the blame for this. I get wanting to make money when reselling Black Flag. So for people aren't going to be able to do that until the toxicity level drops to nothing. And then we can create a safe space for people to talk and have conversations. Because right now the community is so not allowing for that to happen that people aren't able to freely talk. Yeah, it's just kind of, if you don't know, Bronze, I don't know what you're doing. Sicko's responding to Bronze. Black Flag tripling down on their announcement for boss. Yes. Oh yeah. I phrased that awkwardly as hell. It's been it has been a long day. It's been a long weekend for a lot of people. I know many of us are getting back to work this week and still getting caught up on other things. Has nothing to do with the staples though. It has to do with whether or not Marvel approved the comic. Otherwise, it's basically bootleg.
Yeah.
Say that again, Paul. Speak up.
I think it's in the contract.
Can you educate us on that?
I'm sorry?
Can you educate us on that?
No, I think when a retailer makes, I don't want to speak completely with all the knowledge, but I'm pretty positive that's in the contract.
Okay, so when they sign a contract with Marvel,
it's in the fine print.
It's in the fine print.
What's the staple thing though? Is it like literally the number of staples in a book?
Yeah, so there's normally like 2 staples.
Yeah, I'm looking at one that's got 2.
They basically just stapled the clear cover onto it.
Okay, and that changes the value of the book? Okay.
Not necessarily the value. I mean, it altered the book in a way that made it look a little bit differently. Acetate covers has never really been a valuable thing.
No, never.
Never really. It's not like something that people chase, but I think they found the perfect storm of utilizing stock that was there, making it look different, making it exclusive, but it's because it's a reprint or a facsimile of UF4. You're right. This is what I've been trying to get caught up to here and answer some more of these questions. I heard they had more UF4s available on the second day. Is that true? Sounds like more than 750. No, once they were done at 1021, 1022, the only copies of UF4 that were trading hands were from the people that actually picked it up and were either trading, because we all talked about Con 101. You're in line and your buddy's in a different line and you buy 10 or he buys 10 or 4 or 5 or whatever the number is. Then you split it halvesies. That's kind of Con 101. So the only other copies that were trading hands that day were either from the people that already bought them, or there was potentially more that showed up. But Bronze Age is leading to potentially more hitting the floor. I can't answer that. And now the way things have been going, I hope that's not the case. That retailer was doing retailer work with other retailers. Folks are attacking Chip for expressing his frustration are toxic trolls. He's one of the nicest dudes in the community. Chip Gittler is one of the nicest dudes in the community, and I pray to God that people aren't attacking him, or if they are, they stop, because all he did was his video. Everybody watch Chip Gittler's video. If anybody in the chat is a moderator, can find that link and share it here. Chip's video is worth a view. He's very calm, cool, collected, and he just kind of shares he's calm, cool, and collected comparatively to the community. He shares how he felt and what his experience was. And him and I were messaging each other back and forth that right in line there. So how about publishers respecting the consumers spending money on admission and selling them the books first and sell whatever is left to the retailers at the end of the show? I mean, at this point,
there's a whole business mindset behind that, in my opinion. Like, I love that idea, but they're the people making the exclusives. Those are the people selling your books as a publisher. And they don't want to lose that type of business. Because again, I think that's a business is business type situation. I know that doesn't completely make sense, but
Riding off of that though, why would it be not so great if they did put a cap on how many you could purchase? I thought I saw.
I think they should. Yeah.
Well, and I agree, but I thought somebody said they didn't agree with putting a cap on it. But like, if you know that it's going to be that popular anyways, you're still probably going to sell all 750. You get
or
more.
Even just make it 2 per order, like get back in line or something like that.
Right. Well, that too, or just the idea of like you're going to get way more hands on your book to see it, to know about it. Like, what? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. I think because it's Ultimate Fallout, to be honest with you, that's what's generating it. It's a Crane cover. That's
this is a similar situation.
Crane, that's it.
Yeah, this is a similar situation to limited beer releases in the Midwest, where breweries do barrel-aged beers and they release selected amounts. It's first come, first serve, whoever's first in line, and then they got smart and started limiting. But what they do is what Paul said. They sell X, and then they let you get back in line if there's nobody else in line. You've put in that time and effort, and if you want more and there's still more available, get back in line. That's something I think the retailers or exclusive retailers should probably consider. If you want more, get back in line.
Yeah.
If people missed out, it's kind of on them at that point. And I actually kind of like that aspect. That's done very well in the beer community, that you can get 2 bottles of X, Y, or Z and cash out, and you can hop right back in line. It's kind of fair game at that point if nobody else is showing up in time, or if the people have opportunities when they schedule these releases or talk about them. And I don't think even Black Flag realized how popular this was going to be at the very start. There might be something I don't know about, but the look on the people working Black Flag was one of shock. The people working it, like, I don't think they were even technically ready to handle that workflow that early in the morning. No cuts, no butts, or I'll kick you in the shin.
For line cutters.
That's fair. They said they stand behind it. Ooh. Interesting. They're standing behind their decision.
I don't know.
Yeah. CGC is fully aware of what we graded and stand behind. Okay. So this is what adding to that. CGC is fully aware of what we graded and stand behind them, from CGC Mike on the forums. Interesting. So that kind of leads me to believe that these are going to come back blue labels.
They have blue labels back, and they say it's from Black Flag Publishing, right on it. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
What does a blue label mean?
Universal. So that means the comic book is universally graded, and that grade green would be qualified, meaning it doesn't meet the standard or the tier that CGC sees as. So it could be like somebody wrote like that usually happens a lot if somebody signs a book that they've done, but there's no COA or there's no CGC witness, so they don't turn it into a yellow label or a gold label. They turn it into a green label. And people have always considered the label that is green a label of death, and they really shouldn't, but in my opinion. People don't want to collect green labels, but that is the same thing could be said years ago about red labels or blue or not gold labels. People didn't want to collect signatures back then. Not showing faces when they critique. You guys interject whenever you want. We're trying to keep up with I'm keeping up with the chat here. I'm glad the community is coming out with their opinions, but just because they think it's wrong doesn't mean they get to be toxic about it. Yes, you guys spoke to that, and Bronze Age Dirt is 100%. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to have debate and discussions about this and not be happy and not feel comfortable. It's okay to not be comfortable about the situation. What's not okay is being toxic about it. And that's exactly what's happening. People have a preconceived notions about people and won't change their minds. This is true. This is true 100% with like the top 10 or 15% of YouTubers or top 10% of whatnot sellers or whatever, that people have preconceived notions that about those people and they won't change their minds about them. And it's just like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Go ahead, Mood. You're muted.
Can't hear you.
I think you got unplugged, buddy. While he gets fired back up here, the sad thing on these con variants almost is never hold crazy initial value. That's like ratio variants. New comic book day ratio variants are like that. People chase something because it's an exclusive. Man, it's a reprint of a reprint. Funny thing is the UF4 reprints and facsimiles are still holding value, though. Still holding value. JP, stop talking logic, JP. Next time you'll remind us how fugly this book is. I like the book, though.
I do too, Andy. I kind of like it.
Did they donate anything to any type of charity, by the way, with all this?
Not that they made publicly aware that I can find.
Yeah. All right.
I approached. So when this was happening, we bought our books. Everybody was in line. I circled back around after they sold out and said, "Hey, Black Flag, I'm very interested." I told him what my plan was. Is I want to auction off one of these for Mission 22. I'm very interested to hear about how this cover came to be, why this decision was made. I'm like, veterans would. This is a great book for veterans, and I really would love your guys' support when we go to auction this off to talk about it and talk about its history and why it was created. And I got the. Yeah, no, I don't think we're going to be available. I'm like, okay, well, how about I send you 4 questions via a private message and you guys can answer them? Oh, yeah, that might work. And then I'm starting to realize now that there's more at play here than what I realized back then. And I know a lot of people, this was kind of interesting. And I'm going to go full screen on this because the back of the book, a lot of people were highlighting this. In God.
Mm-hmm.
So money says in God we trust, right? But I think this is a little bit of a misplacement here. It says in God we entrust America. So people have been attacking the book on the back here for saying in God we entrust. They're like, well, that's not a thing. In God we entrust is not a thing. Well, the rest of it says in God we entrust America. Like I believe you're supposed to read it as one full phrase. And if I'm wrong, call me out and tell me I'm wrong. I'm okay with that. But I'm holding out hope that this isn't, a bigger issue, but in God, we entrust America. So now I think people are really kind of stuck and laser focused on the fact that on money, it says in God, we trust, and it stops. I think this cover says in God, we entrust America. Now, if I'm wrong, you guys tell me, but
first time hearing about it.
Well, so there's been several posts on the forums and other areas on IG. It says in God we entrust, and they circle it and says that this is incorrect, it's not right, and I'm like, okay, but I feel like I'm supposed to be reading it in God we entrust America. Maybe. I hope. I'm still kind of holding out hope because I still enjoy this cover. I'm still.
I don't know. At the end of the day, this will pass.
It'll be water. It'll be water under the bridge in a couple of weeks.
In a couple of days.
Right.
It's a comic book.
It is. It is.
It's just a comic book. So back to the comments.
You're going to buy it. That's
you like again 100%. You guys inject whenever you need to because there's a lot of great comments here that I don't want to miss. People are preconceived notions. The sad thing is the converts. Yes, we already got that one. Next year, sorry to cut you off there, John. I just thought Freda Bounce would be a cool name, but it's already taken.
Free to bounce.
Free to bounce.
Ha.
You kept saying feel free to bounce.
So, free to bounce.
That was Chicago.
Come on, Dad joke.
Yeah.
It's getting late. It's getting late. I seen Andy at the Circle K and he had 2 Coles and a hot dog, and all I got was a Pepsi. He's a cheater.
Oh God.
Loader doesn't mean you're right. You're not exaggerating. So I feel like I over exaggerate sometimes, and people remind me oftentimes that you're not really far off. I'm like, okay, but sometimes I kind of add that disclaimer because sometimes I feel like I get a little carried away. If you would stop living off of FOMO, then no market to incentivize this kind of BS. Yeah. Teaching people not to FOMO buy books. The
that
problem
goes with
is
anything though. Look at the car market. You're paying $5,000 over a sticker. I was a car salesman at one point too, so this is why I get so like meh. Like the car market right now, somebody's willing to pay the price. They're going to pay the price, and people panic and they keep paying the price. It's not coming down for over a year. It's just starting to come down. People that wanted to buy them, they're all in new cars. Now everybody can pay more fair prices. It'll happen.
Yeah, between parts availability and between factory capacity and then FOMO, vehicle prices have skyrocketed, 30, 35, 40%? I don't know. Yeah. I'll get caught up to that comment. Darn it, JP, we want to vent useless fury about a book we never wanted to buy and blame the people we don't even know about an event we were never even saw. Oh God, yes. The comments do not disappoint. Andy, I don't think Thora was doing a live stream reaction to Jem's video. Jem was in the live chat. It was interesting. So I did not know, and I saw it live before we went. So I'm going to circle back around and go and watch that. I hope that other people come and find this and watch the comments. That's why when I posted on Instagram, I said, please share because we want to have a healthy topic and healthy conversation and discussion. There's still 30 people bouncing in here, and I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. Anybody watching this on the replay after 2.5 hours, don't forget to comment down below and let's have that healthy conversation and discussion. Honest question, Andy, what time did the books go on sale? Yes, great question. The books went on sale about 9:40, 9:41, 9:42. I know I remember looking at my clock and seeing 9:42, but that means that was the first time I saw movement, not necessarily when the first movement actually happened. It's the first time I saw it was about 9:42. So my guess is about 9:35 to 9:40, they started selling books, which seemed odd because I've always been one of those people like, you guys know, I put boots to the ground and I'm earlier than hell. And if somebody's going to sell me a book early, I'm more than welcome. I'm more than happy to buy it early and move on to the next adventure. And after all these years of doing conventions and all these years, I'm not that knee deep. Never have I once met a retailer that would sell to me before 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. before 10 a.m. This is the first time I've seen a retailer specifically at C2E2 sell before 10. And I don't know if there was something discussion-wise or planning-wise that happened beforehand that prompted that. I really don't. I can't answer that. But yeah, they started going on sale about somewhere in the neighborhood of 9:40-ish, we'll call it.
I texted you at 9:51 to tell you I was on the floor, and you responded at 9:53. So my guess is that you were either free enough to text me back or you already had the book, but it was like I'm stuck in the line at Black Flag. So around that time.
Is that what I set you at, like 9:50 something? I'm stuck in line?
9:53, yeah.
Yeah, so that first 20 minutes that they were selling was just the first 10 people.
Yeah.
That's how long it took them to get cashed out and get done because of how many books were going out. So it was about that time that I texted you that I was stuck, that all of a sudden, bam, 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 she came around the corner. They weren't even waiting for the line to move up. That's another thing that people haven't talked about. Like the line to move up to pay. Because obviously at a retailer at a convention, they have more than one point of sale. They have more than one device. So they were taking their extra devices and they were bouncing down the line and selling before their orders could even get filled.
Oh, geez.
Because I was caught off guard. I was trying to move around the corner and get ready when she stops me before I moved around the corner. She right there. So how many copies do you want? And I'm like, I hadn't even completed my thought making process on how many I was going to do, because I'm not even at the front of the line yet. I don't know, like 14, 15, I don't know, something like that. And I threw out, I think it was 14. And she said, okay. She's like, I'll be right back. And then the line moved forward. All right. So I go around the corner expecting to get to the front of the line and like everybody else and then pay up there. No, I got pulled back around the corner and said, this is my station. You're going to pay here and I'll give you your books here. And I'm like, okay, this is getting a little like herky jerky here. It's like, why don't we just keep the line moving and have 3 stations and go 3, 3, 3, 3 or whatever. But Mutant Beaver also bought up all the Gleason site web. Oh, really? Interesting. I think they said they had to. Oh, wait. I think he said they were due to go on sale at 10 a.m., but they started selling. Yes, J Hood, that is correct. I was there. It was before 9:42 or 9:42 exactly, but 9:42 was when I saw first action of sales happening. I believe Andy said 9:42, like 18 minutes. Yep, about that. That info was on their Facebook page. With the 10 for resellers, why wouldn't everyone jump in that line? That's a good point. So if they're actually like publicly stating they're going to do 2 lines and they're going to allow resellers to get 10 and collectors only get 1, what's to prevent the collectors from going over to the reseller lines?
Yeah.
Well, then at that point, you have to have some sort of an exhibitor badge or business license or business information or. So that's a good point. Who's going to stop me from jumping in that reseller line as somebody who sells on whatnot? Now, let's hypothetically, I don't have an exhibitor badge most of the time, and I have an LLC, but I don't have a booth, and I don't have, I'm not the Comic Man. So what's preventing from me getting in that reseller line when technically I might not meet criteria to be in that reseller line? So that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down too. They sold out in 21 minutes, so non-exhibitors had 3 minutes to get books and couldn't get in line. Black flag, just shady. So if they started selling at 9:42 and the first information that I received of them selling out was at 10:40 something or 10:20 something, they had about a 40-minute window of sales. So just under an hour, like 41 to 45 minutes worth of sales before I heard that they sold out. People are freaking out that the UF4 had 4 stables, saying that it makes it less legit, but that's not really the case. Hence, like Paul was saying with the stray dogs. Right, Paul?
Yeah, exactly. There's certain acetates with 4. It just depends on the printing company with these publishers. But really quick, I wanted to bring this up way before, just because Average Will was in here, but I got a package from him. Look at this padded mailer.
No,
it's printed on there. Everybody has to step up their game. I just got to say.
Nice.
Wow.
There was a Gemini inside, but I thought that was hysterical.
That's epic, dude. Yeah, Taylor, Whatnot isn't to blame for any of this, but their platform hasn't helped with the FOMO. Sell as soon as possible before other folks can mentally. Buy now, sell 3 minutes later for 5 times as much. There's that, but there's another aspect of Whatnot that I don't think people are giving enough credit to, is that there is a larger audience within Whatnot that is, they have not revenue. Well, I mean, they have money, but they don't have the ability to go to a convention. There are a lot of handicapped people out there. There are a lot of people that work from home. There are a lot of people that have mental awareness challenges or mental challenges, where there are a lot of people out there in the collecting community that can't physically travel to a convention, and they have money. They have enough money where the value of an item outpaces the convenience or lack of convenience to go get it. That's a thing that nobody talks about really, or if they are, we're not talking about it enough. There are homebound individuals out there that collect comic books, and things like eBay have been their status quo. But now something like Whatnot comes along, and they have fun. They have connectivity. There's conversations. It's like we said, the best of YouTube and IG and Macari and some other things, and they enjoy it. So the value of an item becomes less important, and the community becomes more important than the value of an item. That people are willing to say, I want this, and I'm not going to let go of it. Is that necessarily FOMO? Maybe. Well, let me rephrase it. Maybe we're seeing a different form of fear of missing out. I don't know. I don't really have an answer to that, but
it's also like traveling to a convention that a book you can only get there. And like, for example, let's say I wanted a book from C2E2. I'm stuck somewhere else this weekend and I couldn't go to C2E2. So I'm going to go and buy it online somewhere. And if Black Flag's not going to sell it to me, then I have to buy it somewhere else. And if I really want it, that's what I'm going to do to get it. So it doesn't have to be somebody who's homebound. It can be anybody who doesn't want to travel to Chicago or San Diego or Texas or somewhere to get a book. I would rather spend a little more money or whatever on the book buying it from you or buying it from somebody else than spend $1,000 that's going to cost me to travel to Texas or wherever to get the book. So that opportunity is as well.
Just an opportunity to try and get it.
Right.
Right. Just a chance to get it.
Right. Well, and the other part of that I think that people aren't taking into account, Black Flag aside, I'm not a seller. I'm, kind of naive still in the comic game, but I knew, that this exclusive was coming out. I thought it looked cool. I would love to have had a copy. I couldn't get there in time to even think about getting in line. And it was gone already, but I knew, okay, I'm sure somebody on Whatnot's going to have it. At the end of the day, the people that paid the more money for it, they chose to pay that money. The bids drove up that price. The seller didn't drive that up. The bidders drove up the price, and they chose to pay $250 or, so on. Even if maybe, 85 seems like it's a little bit high from the, jump, but that's because I'm cheap. I'm always looking for the, cheap deal, but, I think at the end of the day, the other thing that people aren't taking into account is, you weren't able to get that exclusive. So you took your chance on Whatnot or on, eBay or whatever it is, and you purchased it, but you willingly purchased it. Nobody forced your hand to buy that book for $250 or $175 or whatever it is.
Right.
That's an excellent point.
100%. It's your choice.
Yeah. Right. And thinking about it too, I was, Zuni and I were talking about a little bit earlier in that, isn't there always, whether it was this book or another book, at the end of the day, whether you're buying it because you wanted to collect it and you're hoping someday in 20 years from now, it's going to be worth, a nest egg for yourself to retire or your grandkids or whatever, isn't sometimes the whole thing behind some of these books. You're buying it because you hope it's gonna hit big. So, why not take a chance on this one too? And maybe it will crash, but it's still all a gamble at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and New York City Comic-Con variants that are crashed in a short box, right?
And and we're still talking about it pretty heavily, several days later. So
Right.
It's working.
Right.
But I mean, not to cut you guys off or anything.
No,
but,
no, go ahead. We're done.
Conventions for me, I love to get my sketches. I love artwork. Like for me, it's meeting the artists, it's getting the art, and it's seeing everybody. Making the connections. I'm not even kidding. This is everything to me. The exclusives, they all come second nature. And like Devil was saying, I can purchase them for a higher price. Yeah, they might be a few $100s more, but the experiences that I have, those are more priceless.
Yeah,
like forgetting $1,000 just to get there for the weekend with the hotel, with the flights, all that stuff, and then spend the money and then try to recoup it by selling it. That's not what it's about.
You mean like an experience like forgetting to turn on your mic when you talk to Brian K. Vaughan in person at that was me.
2 chances.
Yeah.
I mean,
as long as you learn from it,
you
brother.
learn. That's right. That's right. I mean, we completely lucked out. We were, yes, I was gifted a copy of this, and when it went on sale and whatnot, I tried to bid on it, but I knew I wasn't going to go over a certain dollar amount. So, again, going back to the whole choice, but I was very fortunate that it was something that was, it was A-okay to me, and I'm grateful for it. And I still like it. I think it's cool. But I think all of this, all this drama just seems to be too much.
She shipped it off to CGC first thing this morning, though.
I did it well.
I don't blame you. The important point is we can take this and we can turn it into something positive over the next couple of weeks.
Right. And it looks like White Shadow just put a nice comment in there about how we're having a very calm panel.
Let's not go back to the pictures from the weekend, though.
Well, no, that was something different. That's very different.
And I do want to get to that comment, but this was a good one. Sicko asks, considering the topic of lines, disabilities could make it hard to wait in line like normal. And I really want to touch bases on this for a minute. Yeah. How does someone like me explain that someone was waiting in place for me? That's a really good thing that I was chewing on this weekend as I was in line at the convention, and my wife and I have been talking quite heavily. Some of you, I know the people that are close to me, like you guys here in this panel, and anybody watching in the chat may or may not know, I struggle very heavily with anxiety, like debilitating levels of anxiety, to the point where like I start coughing and I gag, and it rolls into this ever evolving cortisone, adrenaline. Like the anxiety becomes debilitating to the point where I actually have to sit, like I have to stop what I'm doing. So my wife and I had a very long conversation this weekend that I feel like my next course of action might be to get a service animal. I don't know that like I've been talking with my doctor for years about this, and I don't know that approaching more medications is going to be helpful. And I'm glad that Sicko brings this up, because people with physical disabilities, accessibility is something that's big with C2E2. They do a fantastic job of making things accessible. And I feel like C2E2 is one convention of many to highlight where the aisles are much bigger. There's elevators everywhere. There's lots of accessibility options. Yeah. And I feel like if somebody that can't physically be there but needs somebody to be that placeholder, the community can band around that and understand that. That's where my heart's at. I know that can be a thing, but I chewed on something similar like that with my wife this weekend. Like that whole situation caused me an anxiety attack in line. Like I was struggling and fighting with an anxiety attack to the point where I almost walked away. I almost walked away from this book, and in hindsight, I wish I kind of would have.
Yeah.
But I'm hard-headed, and you guys know what that's like.
This is a learning experience. It's nothing more.
You don't want to give up either. You feel like if you give up on yourself and walk away, then that eats away at you and kind of picks away at you a little bit. Like I gave up, and you have to find a way to become okay with that. Whereas I know what it's like to have an anxiety attack, and I feel like I could try to fight through this, but I'm with Sicko. I feel like the community can band together in that fashion when it comes to placeholders, and maybe conventions can find an official way to do it in time.
Yeah.
And I know C2E2 wholeheartedly, like I saw several service dogs there, and that was kind of my cue. I was like, oh my God, like this is the professional, everything. Like I talked to Sarah, and I'm like, I really want to pick away at this a little bit more, and I feel like this might be a good avenue for me. But yes, Sicko, I really appreciate that comment. Choco, did you finish?
I can answer this question for you, but I do have one thing about the line thing.
Yeah.
I don't collect anything to a point where I'm there when it releases, not anymore anyways, but when I used to be, there would be days when I would go, a lot of it was just books and midnight releases and stuff. There'd be events where we would have to go twice to the same vendor. The first time is to get a wristband to say that you can stand in line to buy it, and then you come back at a certain time and get it, kind of like a fast pass or something at a theme park or whatnot. But like I think that that gives people the opportunity, if you can get your a wristband at any point during the day, you're not obligated to be there at first opening. There's no rush to say like how many you can have right then and there. If it's just one person, they can only give out one wristband. You can give it to a friend, for instance, somebody that can't stand in line all day, and then you have that cap on whatever you can purchase later. But like granted, people aren't going to want to spend, you know, a 12-hour day at a con or even like 8 hours. Like if that's the difference between the release when they hand out the wristbands versus when you buy the actual book. But like, I think it just guarantees people a little bit more accessibility, you know? Yeah, I just think it's crazy. Also, not finished with Carnage. Not yet.
Beth, what you said about the wristband thing, I've had to do that exact thing in San Diego.
Yeah.
There were multiple exclusives for toys and things, and this was years ago, but you would go as soon as you could to get the wristband, and then they would either give you a time to come back with your wristband, or they would tell you, like, you know, you'll be able to get one, you know, between this window.
Yeah.
And then you would just come back and you'd be able to buy it as long as you showed up within that day or within that half a day. Or you got a Saturday wristband, you got a Sunday wristband, whatever. And you just had to come back during that time and you'd be guaranteed as long as you had that wristband.
Yeah.
And that's such a smart way to do it. But that, again, most of these things that we're talking about fall back on the retailer.
Right.
The convention can't control it. Nobody else can control it. That retailer has to be responsible to understand what they're selling. And yeah, they want to sell out, but they have to know that this is what they're causing. Well, if they want bad publicity or whatever publicity, they're getting a lot of it now, but how many people aren't going to buy from them anymore?
Yeah.
You know, so it's on them, and they have to decide how to handle it and what to do moving forward to make it better for everybody to be able to get their product. If they have a product that's so good, they need to be able to make it accessible to anyone.
Yeah, and Jay Hood brings up a great question. If it's a business decision to sell to retailers, why make them available to consumers at all?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to answer that, and I'm pretty sure he's just posing a thought process here, but that's an interesting thought process to chew on, actually. Limited release beers and variant covers. It's all... Yeah, Taylor's right. It's all pissing money away.
That Founders, man, that was so bad.
Shiny is 1,000,000% right. We can do this civilly. Yeah, we can. The problem is the people that want to do it civilly, that have large followings, the bulk of their followings aren't interested in being civil, which is a big shame.
Isn't this conversation really just boiled down to whether you speculate or you don't speculate? In a way, you know, I mean, the guys that speculate or hate speculation are pissed because the guys that do speculate bought up the books.
You know, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But what I'd like to add to that in the caveat is people still think of speculation as this one-sided thing, like speculators are flippers and sellers, which is definitely not the case. There are people like me that use speculation heavily to build my collection long-term. I may have bought in 14 copies and said I'm going to auction one off for Mission 22, but if 2 years from now a CGC 9A of that book is $5,000, you're fucking ain't right. I'm doing another Mission 22 auction.
Right.
That's speculation. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's multiple facets of speculation that people don't really kind of harness, and a lot of people, and I'm not saying this is wrong, but a lot of people still think speculation is a one-sided, one-facet thing. So you bring up a really good point there.
I mean, I'm looking at it from a new perspective. I mean, I'm kind of like Beth. I'm on the outside looking in when it comes to comics. You know, I've been a Wolverine fan forever, but you know, that's one character with the unbelievable amount of them. You know, so it's more Mama that you know, it's something she enjoys. So if she enjoys it, I enjoy it. You know, so I learning about the whole speculation and, you know, that issue has been interesting to me throughout the time that I've been watching you guys.
Yeah, and more often than not, I've come to realize, like, somebody that's been doing the same thing for a very long time, they get a little defensive when somebody new comes into the conversation and says, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Those people that are new to a conversation, whether it be in a job role or in a collection or in something like that, are more often than not, their opinions are more valuable than the opinion of somebody that has created a narrative over 20 years of what should be the status quo. Yeah. New people that don't have that established narrative are more important to collecting and more important. This is why companies like Google and Microsoft operate the way they do. They want those new people that are thinking outside of the box, that are going to bring something different. You can't survive as a large corporation or a large company or as a an efficient collector if you get stuck in a status quo. You got to constantly challenge yourself with new ideas and converse with the community and think outside the box. So new people like yourself coming into collecting are the most fucking important part of the community. You're challenging the status quo of the last 50 years. And that's how we continue to grow and better ourselves as collectors and as community members.
The easiest way to be stagnant, or the most dangerous words in business, is this is the way we've always done it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Amen.
I hate that.
It's the worst thing ever.
Absolutely. And bronze, I'm catching up to bronze in trust. Okay.
I looked it up. I looked it up because I was curious too, and they're the same word. There's just a variation on them, and the IN is used less than the EN.
Like color and color.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I looked it up.
I hate the English language for that stuff.
Yes.
Seriously.
Entrust America is the word, not Entrust America. So, like Beth said, that sounds. So, actually, John, you got to take John. John is an educator. John. So, I would actually like to pick away at this more with John and learn more from him later on in another time. But it keeps going to say America. Fax bronze, yes. Brother John, welcome back. Has there been any further discussion on what was reported about Marvel knowing nothing about this being done? Mood, yeah, you said something. Was it Mood or was it Paul?
No, I don't know. I haven't read anything about that.
Maybe it was Bronze Age and or somebody else that said that Solo Wookiee released said that Marvel released a statement about that. And please check it on the recap. I'd take forever to find that comment at the moment. Biggie Shack, brother, still hanging tough in the chat. Good to see you, man. I'm glad I didn't know about this cover while I was at the con. Did end up getting a few exclusives, though. Yeah, well, I still got some as well, too. Hope everybody else did.
I'm finding out like days later some of these cool exclusives that were there. I know Vault had a few barbaric covers. They had a Maria Wolf cover that I just saw today, which was phenomenal. I'm very into that series. I love that. But yeah.
Paul, what was the books you had me grab for you? What were those?
Oh, yeah,
I didn't want to open them or touch them.
Yeah, so that's like all these writers, they're doing like all these Substacks and everything. So it's Jonathan Hickman, Mike Del Mundo, and last name escapes me. Three Worlds, Three Moons. They came out with a book, and yeah, they obviously had the different convention exclusives. But I'd watch that. Not 8 billion genies watch it.
Yeah.
Warlord saying hi to everybody. Good to see you, man. Yeah, I wish I was in that boat of zero interest, but somehow it still kind of has me a little bit. So this is something I got to talk about. C. Woodard, sketch in a sketchbook, therefore the con was a success. We forgot. Beth, you're going to be upset with us. We forgot our sketchbook this year.
What?
We did too.
Yep.
Yep. We're gonna have to make it up by bringing it to Grand Rapids and getting an extra sketch. Rocket Raccoon from Gavin Smith. That is awesome.
Cool.
Imagine if Clayton Crane actually made the con. That line management from Black Flag would have been even worse.
True.
Exactly. And jumping ahead a little bit, you don't have a badge, Andy, but you have a beard. You're good. Jesus Christ.
I love that.
So that's funny because like last year, if you guys may have been remembering or may have remembered, I posted on IG that Thursday before the con. I didn't have a badge. I didn't have anything. And I walked completely out onto the floor and there was like nobody there except for 2 security guards. And I sat down and I had a cup of coffee and there was I just found a random chair and kind of sat there and I'm like, this is kind of cool to take in. And nobody said anything. Maybe that's why security is so rough this year, but
that's how I got in early Saturday last year. I mean, I literally just walked in.
The line was full of exhibitors before the floor even opened. They started selling them before even VIP. So yeah, JP's right there. 100% right. So VIP access, I do not know when VIP access opened, but I will say that there were exhibitors in line before VIP access was allowed in. So I feel like there was a wave of exhibitors and a wave of VIPs and then a wave of general admission. Why even pretend collectors were going to get them then? Damn.
That's just like last year. But
Yeah. We need a quick smile break. How much does a roof cost? What?
He's
Oh, for the love of God.
What's wrong with him?
It's
Well done.
Thank you for that, Bronze.
Yeah. Oh
Well,
my goodness.
I'm God, I want to gravitate to more joking, but there's a lot of great comments here. Like I said, you guys are free to head out for the night whenever you want. I'm not going to stop going until the comments are done and or I just kind of get too tired. The whole exhibitors getting in line early is nothing new. Been dealing with this for years. Wanted an Alan Davis sketch in 19, but I got to his booth and there were 3 exhibitors. That was what I was feeling. That was the pressure I was feeling with the Rosario Dawson thing. I figured there were going to be a bunch of exhibitors already there in line before we even got there. That was not the case. And
that was actually last year. Sorry.
I laughed at myself now. Go ahead.
Mirka Andolfo. I got a sketch done by her last year. And that was the day I made it in before doors open. And I was one before the last available sketch before the con actually opened. So, and that was all she was doing for the weekend. Saturday was the last day, and that was it. So, that's like why I went to C2E2 was to get one of those sketches from her, and I would have missed it.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Speaking of Chip Getler earlier, there he is. Nice calm panel talking about these issues logically. Please don't let this be a black spot too soon on what was an amazing weekend. Hopping off, wanted to say mad respect. Hey, White Shadow, Chip, good to see you, man. Thanks to really thankful like we get to spend time together at the convention this weekend. Aren't you banned from the internet now? Yeah, exhibitors using their stroke to their advantage, but these do happen. Guess they pay a lot for their space. Yeah, exhibitor Beth can attest to this. Retail or booth space at conventions is astronomically expensive.
It is, but I never assume that I'm going to get anything free because of it. I never, and maybe that's just me, but like that's not included in the booth description. Like I would never. I've asked Kyle before because I wanted to get things signed by people. And I was like, do you think that I can get in line before they even open the con doors? And I did it once, but that was because the line handler told me to be there. It was for, the woman, I always forget her name, the woman who plays Kaylee from Firefly was signing in Indy. And I had the picture with me and I did it the day before. And so we wanted to get her to see it. And I was told specifically, be in line before the doors open and then we'll get you through. You can do your thing real quick and then everybody else can sign. Because I wasn't having her sign it. I just wanted to show her. And so I never really assumed that benefit is there because I'm still getting ready for the con to the minute before they open the doors. I can only imagine what every other booth is doing too. So but yes, prices are astronomical and stupid.
I have exhibited at shows and I have never ever been ready when the show opens. There's no way I can go.
Right.
Like the show opens, advanced ticket holders are coming in at 9:00 and it's 10:15 and I'm still putting my last stuff out or rearranging or something. Like
it's the only way to do it.
Yeah, there's literally nothing's perfect until like the second day even. So
you're not a true vendor. You're not a true vendor if it works out perfectly.
Yeah,
if you get everything in place, it doesn't count.
Yeah, you're doing something wrong. There's no way.
This is really good. This is something we want to touch bases on because it sounds like Chris was there and in line, and this was kind of an upsetting thing to hear about after the fact. After somebody that already picked up 14 copies and walked away and had plans and was conversing, somebody like Chris was stuck on the end of the line here and said Saturday they had 1 copy left. Oh, so we're not even Friday. We're talking Saturday now. They had 1 copy left and they wanted me to buy. Oh, okay. Chris, you're telling me here that you're telling me you were factually there on Saturday. So it sounds like this is factual proof that they didn't sell out on Friday now. It sounds like they held back copies.
And raffled them off.
Chris, just in the comments here, tell us that you were there Saturday and this is what happened, and like confirm that you were there. Saturday they had one copy left and they wanted me to buy $100 worth of merch. I didn't want to be entered in a raffle to win the book. They milked that last copy for money. Now, I did hear this statement from other people, but I heard it on Friday. So that leads me to believe that Black Flag held back other copies to use to support the promotion and sales of the exclusive variants that hadn't sold out. Not something entirely new. And I've heard of this before, but it's very kind of dastardly underhanded when they use it to this degree of a book that sold out in 40 some odd minutes on Friday. And they're still holding copies when Chris is there on Saturday. That's tough. That's tough to swallow. Speculation means different things. Agreed. Archaic spelling for interest and interest. Okay. That's interesting. The Paul Dunn show only at C2E2. Elsewhere, no.
Oh Lord.
Mike Huddleston is the other 3W3M artist. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
World Through Moon. Yep.
Andy, what do you want the 200 UF4 books? I love Deep Dive with this comment and adding some hilarity to it. Deep Dive, I conversed through the weekend. Deep Dive has an extremely rare Dr. Aphra book that I desperately want, but I can't afford right now. And hopefully I can save up for that at some point. Because
which book?
And I want to. There's a 1 in 100 variant, I think. You and I we'll talk about that later. This is a whole nother conversation for a whole nother show. There's a rare like 1 in 100 variant of Dr. Aphra #1, her first solo series. But I want to talk about the financial side of the little things a little bit too. Like we talk about booth space and other stuff, but I want to talk about what it takes to get to a convention here in just a minute. As we're finally to the end of the chat, actually. Remember the Spawn Gold? So that came up actually about New York City Comic Con. This is no different. Makes you wonder if it's worth the headache. That conversation I've heard come up in the Keep It Thorough chat or show yesterday. Definitely need more water. I'm running through the water so fast right now.
Hydrate.
You're doing good, Andy.
Makes me wonder how many last copy left they actually had. They sold out Friday. Shady. Yeah, this doesn't sound good. I saw a lot of people saying that Whatnot pays all this. Okay, this is a great comment. Then I can add factual evidence to this. I can help add an element that is factual to this. I saw a lot of people saying that Whatnot pays all of the sellers' travel, lodging, etc. They don't. I can tell you 100% that Skeff and I paid for our own rooms, our own travel, and everything. And we were the first two people on that floor helping support Whatnot. They didn't pay for anybody's travel. I think the only, and I hope I don't get blacklisted or chastised for this. I think the only person in the universe that receives something even close to that is look at Comics with Bueller, because he's branded his entire traveling bus as a Whatnot symbol. So there's a sponsorship side of things there. I think Bueller's the only person in the world that might receive some sort of travel stipend or travel whatever. And I don't want to go deep into that because I don't have factual information on that. But if you think about it logically, he's got his bus with all of the Whatnot information on there. It seems pretty logical that there's something, but there's something that's happening there. But I can tell you what right now, and as I want to talk about this a little bit, I spoke with 3 Whatnot sellers who said they have to pay their own expenses to get to 2 cons while at 2 cons. Yes, I am here to tell you right now, I am going to be very transparent about this. I am facing a $4,500 bill for the last 4 days. Wow. It cost Sarah and I $4,500 for the last 2 days. Hotel, parking, food. Granted, this is kind of all encompassing. It's not just the hotel.
I was going to ask, was it something you didn't know about with the hotel?
No. Okay. That worked out. There was a whole.
You mentioned that, and I was like, please, God, no, don't let that be true.
There was an entire hotel snafu when we got there Thursday because we couldn't get Wi-Fi signal from the room, and I went down and I very calmly and very very plain as day, kind of asked to speak to the manager and be like, hey, I'm not having a good time, and this is really challenging at the moment. We picked this deluxe king room. I'm like, transparency. We always pick a deluxe king room at the Hyatt Regency there for space to stream. I don't do the content recording a lot of others do, but I at least want that space available. I want space if friends come over. I definitely want space if Paul Dunn buys 3 more short boxes of books and drops them off at the room and wants to hang out. You guys gonna know where I'm coming at, right? The difference between one room and another room is very minuscule when you spend 6 months saving up for that room. So we got there and it didn't work out. And I went down and I was very calmly like, I'm not having a good time with this. And I asked, I said, hey, I kind of need help figuring this out. You know what they did? I do. they went back and started conversing for about a minute and a half, and then came back and he's like, sir, come on, let's go. He's like, follow me really quick. He's like, we're going to make this right and we're going to take care of you. And I'm like, okay, I am Joe Schmo nobody. I don't really have any big Hyatt like points or anything like that. They brought us over to the other side of the hotel, and you know where they put us? The executive suite.
Wow.
For 4 days, we were in the executive suite, and it was more room than I knew what to do with. And if we had more time, we would have scheduled like co-op streams or other something like that, which was really cool of them. I really appreciate that. And that's why the Hyatt will always get my business. They took care of us. But the financial side of things is something that not a lot of people talk about when you're a retailer, or if you're streaming on whatnot, you're not getting compensated in a fashion that you think. Whatnot, if you're a streamer there, this is how Whatnot operates. If you're a streamer and you show up, let me rephrase that. If you're a streamer and you convey or converse ahead of time a request to say, hey, at this show or at this convention, I would really appreciate a spot. I'd like to be there. I'd like to be a part of this. If it works out scheduling and you there and you hold up at your end of the bargain, you can get what's called a streamer's pack, which is basically some Whatnot exclusives that you can put up on your Whatnot streams. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? Now that's really strictly controlled. It's highly controlled. I think there was only 1 or 2 people that were even allowed into that room for those exclusives, and they were building those packs and they were handing them out. That isn't really like, I don't even know how you even really talk about that. Like, that's not really a financial compensation. So Sarah and I have the hotel bill, we have the gas bill, we have all the food, all of the drinks, everything else that we added. What else? The parking. The parking is the freaking worst. $38 a day for standard parking, $54 a day for valet.
Yes, it's 54.
The city.
It's $200 to park in the city for 4 days.
Don't forget your dogs. You got to board your dogs.
Yeah,
that's just as much as the dang hotel.
Our 2 wieners cost $180 to board. We also gave grandma extra money to take care of our their grandkid, because I'm not going to leave a monster like that with the grandparents and not have ice cream money or ride money like that. So at the end of the day, I'm Joe Schmo Schmuckatelli. I'm not a massive streamer. I don't have a full-on business, and I spent $4,500 for the convention in 4 days.
And they're banking on that.
Yeah.
No, I get that. And I just like people driving up or paying the prices for those books on Whatnot, they don't have to do that. Yeah. I don't have to spend that money either. I could have shaved a day off. I could have not had that 4th drink or that 4th plate of whatever, but it's about the experience, right? Like it's a family experience down there, meeting all of you guys and being able to spend that time with each other. I want to have that experience every time we go.
Yeah.
So we save up for that.
Well, and when we do that, it's like our booth in our hotel. As soon as we pay that back in purchases, we call that first dollar back our cup of noodles, because it means we have at least $1 to get a cup of noodles for dinner that night. That's our cup of noodles. But I've been to conventions where we don't make that back at all, let alone like sometimes it doesn't happen until our very last sale. And so I'm not the kind of person that spends that money to go to a convention, but like you guys think of all the hands you shook this weekend. Like how valuable will that be down the line? Like that's really important. And if you're going to be comfortable, over the weekend. Like, you gotta buy water, you gotta buy food, you gotta buy all that extra stuff. And of course, the convention prices. I think I bought like a cookie at one point. It was like $5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You're paying big city prices because they're in the big cities.
Yeah.
I was there for 3 days before Beth showed me that there was a public bottle filling station for water. So I probably spent $60 on water bottles at $4 a pop.
Oh no.
And in the hotel, in the breezeway in between the convention floor and the hotel is a public water bottle filling station. And I brought bottles to fill with water. So every morning, the first thing I did when I wake up after taking a shower was fill that water bottle from the bathroom sink like a goofball, not realizing. And then Beth just walks up and she's like, "Oh, let me refill this." I was like, "Holy shoot."
What is this witchcraft?
Exactly.
Well, I just love those things because it's so hard. Like, I have this massive, like 32 ounce, and it doesn't fit for like a water fountain. Like, you can't get it in there to
Right.
get it full for a regular water fountain, but some of them have that water bottle filling thing right behind it. And
Yeah.
so I take advantage of that no matter when I'm there. But yeah, gotta look for those next time.
That's right.
Wait till Marvel dumps the UF4 acetates in Walmart packs. Oh my God, would that just blow everybody's minds?
Oh boy.
I would laugh out loud. That would like that.
Could you imagine sales of comic book packs at Walmart if that happened? Oh my God, that'd be nuts.
It explode.
Yeah. Deep Dive says Tom and Bueller may get some perks, but Tom is a part winner with whatnot. Yeah. That means you know more about that situation than I do. So I would actually look to you to find out more then, or I would contact those guys. I do know I got to see those guys and spend time with this weekend. I was very thankful for that. It's very rare that you can get that many people from the comic book community in one spot. And it was awesome to be able to spend time and talk with those guys. Yes, Joe Schmo Schmuckatelli. And I just remember that from Marine Corps. What's that?
So I like it. Joe Schmo Schmuckatelli. That's beautiful.
I just remember that from my Marine Corps days. For some reason, it's kind of in that brain housing group for whatever.
New cosplay character.
I love it. That's
It's
my
on
next D&D guy.
Huh. From the exhibitor standpoint, Jay Hood says the venue is so controlled by the union that they probably pay 2 to 3 times their booth rate for moving. Yeah, let's not forget that. That's something that people don't know. If you go to Chicago, you can't set up your own booth and you can't tear down your own booth. You can unbox and handle merchandise and all that other stuff, but the booth building and breakdown is all done by union labor.
Yep. Yeah, we try to really check the con packet before we go anywhere, because sometimes they'll say if you bring in anything on a dolly that has more than 2 wheels, you have to get a union person to do it. So like you can have a push cart or we just called it a 2-wheeler when I worked at Trader Joe's, but like if it's any more than 2 wheels, you got to get someone able to do it.
Which is very interesting because that explains.
Segways.
Yeah, 2 segways. Oh my God. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, that explains why on Friday in the exhibitor line, I saw somebody with one of those 2-wheel dollies trying to pack as many folding tables on it as possible.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they were trying to accommodate their needs without going certain routes.
Having to pay a crap ton extra.
But yeah, that burger really was worth $26, Daymares. That was good at the Marriott. There was also one by the ice machine in the hotel. Really?
Yeah, I passed it when we visited your room really quick. It's okay. Andy, how many things did you have on your checklist this weekend? You were so busy.
Too many. So many so that I apparently forgot how to hydrate myself.
But that's not hard to do for any exhibitor or artist or somebody running around the floor. That is not hard to do. So
yeah. Well, the chat has slowed down. It's after 11. And Jay Hood here with another great comment. The great conversation, Andy. Thanks for hosting. Good night, everybody. I think this is a great opportunity to go around the horn with parting shots to see where you guys are at after over 3 hours of conversation with a steady stream of comments and a steady stream of viewership. And it's not about getting answers. It's about just having healthy conversations. So, I mean, Double O, man, thanks for hanging tough the whole night. Do you have anything you want to say in the parting shots, and where can people find you? What do you have coming up next?
I'm just doing some local shows. I'm working on a second Instagram page just to like where I'm selling books, but I haven't quite gotten that going yet. But it's Robot Rock Comics. That's going to be my thing. So I'm working on that. But other than that, I'll be at some local shows around Michigan, and yeah, that's about it. My wife and I have both been setting up and selling stuff lately, so it's working really well.
That's awesome. I'm actually looking forward to, I think it is in 2 weeks. Oh no, this weekend hitting you
Livonia?
up in
Yeah, 14th.
Livonia.
Yeah, the 14th.
Yeah, I just want to like bring a chair and come sit and hang out with you.
Anytime, man. You are more than welcome.
I think I might do that, man.
Cool.
Beth, there was a lot that took place this weekend, and I really want to know what your parting shots are.
No, I can't thank you enough. I know I already told you this like 4 times, but all the people you introduced me to, in the midst of the chaos, no matter what was happening, it was always fun and always just, a cool and exciting, different version of being at a convention. Other than that, if anyone wants to travel out to the middle of Farm, Illinois, nowhere next weekend, I'm in Mendota at a craft fair. So I'll be outside for the first time in years, and it's going to be real interesting to see what the humidity does to all my stuff. So super excited for that. And then I'm in Cincinnati in September, so that'll be really exciting. And hopefully some of the folks we talked to this weekend will have something for me to do in the next couple of months. I think it would be really, really fun. So heck yeah.
Oh yeah. There's definitely more Beth coming to a lot of different areas of either YouTube or whatnot or conventions. And are you guys slated to do Grand Rapids this year?
Yes, we are. So I didn't know how far we were conversing about schedules, but yes, I will. That'll be my last convention of the year in November, Grand Rapids Comic-Con. That'll be our first time there, so I'm really excited. And yeah, stop on by and get some prints.
I took that Friday off.
Yeah, heck yeah, excellent.
Awesome.
Also, you should bring your son. I want to meet him.
The running plan is that I'd like to go up Friday by myself to network and converse and maybe find a way to help any exhibitor friends out, so to speak. And then Saturday come up with Sarah and Colin so that he can come. Yeah, exactly.
He can help me draw.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
Then a couple more comments coming in as we continue to go around the horn. Fuzzy and the Fat Man, thanks for being here. Please consider subscribing and hanging out and joining the adventure of comic book collecting and Comic Cons. Are any of you going to? I believe so. Are any of you going to Vegas Comic Con? I believe they're on Whatnot. I want to go to Vegas next year.
I love his show, by the way.
I hope so. I want to go to Vegas next year. Throwing up the devil horn, saying yes, in agreement that they are the Whatnot sellers. Deep Dive says, just remember, none of us are perfect, and most of us have made decisions we regret. This is a community about inclusions and not keel hauling people that make mistakes. Yeah, agreed.
Amen.
Absolutely. Once again, thank you, Fuzzy and the Fat Man, for being here and hanging out. Paul, you had an amazing weekend in Chicago at C2E2. What again, throw out a couple of parting shots and tell people where they can find you and what you have coming up next, man.
You can find me all across the world. Flat Paul. No,
I want
one. Just send it across the community. Like sign with. It's Dunn Deals, all underscores between those 3 words, or the _ Paul Dunn on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel, have a Whatnot channel. I finally bought an iPad, so like you can hear me now. I can actually sell things. I got foil stickers I made. I also got
foil.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I got my Rickroll ones too.
No! Oh my God. Wow.
I made them pop art, and then I put the Whatnot logos.
That's amazing.
For the love of God, please, yes, please.
Gotta have one.
How many can I buy, and how many can I buy right now?
Amazing.
All of them. I don't think you understood me when I said give me all of them.
We want a pop-up whatnot show immediately.
Yes,
Yes,
right
yeah,
now.
Yeah.
Following the stream.
Just never going to give you up.
That is dope, dude. I'm so. That is a fantastic sticker idea. Don't let anybody steal that from you. Just trademark
yeah,
it.
thank you so much for having me on the show, by the way. And I know I was only there in well, I was there, but
You were there.
You showed up when we were doing the whatnot, and I was like, "This is happening."
Yep. This guy.
This is happening.
But yeah, thank you so much, Mama and Zuni, for all the laughs, because that made my weekend. It went by in a breeze. It was just so funny. I thought about it like before bed. I was cracking up like all day.
Our pleasure, sir. Our pleasure.
Mission accomplished.
That's right.
Yep.
That's
Speaking
right.
of mission accomplished, Mama and Zuni, please, final parting thoughts. And do you guys got any conventions coming up soon?
You know, C2E2 has been our only convention. It was our very first convention in 2020 before, the world shut down. But the more we get to know all of you, the more we talk about going to other cons elsewhere. Don't ask about New York Comic Con. Don't do it, Paul.
Hey, Paul said we could stay with him.
That's fine. Okay.
I don't know. I don't think I can fit with you two spooning. I just don't know. Could get weird.
I got a king size bed. It's all good.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. But we're just hanging out, and the whole thing this weekend, we just are the just making you guys smile and laugh. That was the best part for us. That made me so happy. I was just excited. Yeah, exactly. It was priceless, and it worked out better than we ever could have planned. So, all of you now are part of our odd, weird, extended family. No, that's Paul on a stick. You got it. Ahsoka was awesome. She was very patient with Paul. He had a lot of nagging questions. He kept wanting to play with her lightsabers, but we said no. You'll poke your eye out, kid. So that's all we got.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be with you guys as always.
Yeah, and to meet you, Beth. It was
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah.
Like I keep hearing the name in the whatnot, like come on Mama and Zuni every single time, and it's finally nice to put a face to a name, because people will come up to me at cons and just say like, "Hey, hi," and like I have no idea what you look like otherwise. You need to tell me your screen name.
Right.
So now I know.
Yeah. So now we will stalk you and see what we can find. And
we love the community.
We do. And this was a thrill to be on with you guys. We're not, we have YouTube channel, but we are
not the YouTubers.
We are not the tubers. I've talked about it many times, but never done it. So, but that's it. We appreciate you inviting us on, Andy.
Yeah, thanks, Andy.
Yeah, thanks for your time, and thanks for staying up late on what is essentially a school night. And we're all getting ready for work. We're all getting ready to crash and call it a night. Can't thank each and every one of you guys enough. Thank you to everybody in the chat, having a great time, dropping really good questions and really good points of views. And please, anybody, drop that comment down in the comment section below for anything that you want to discuss about this. This has been a long format discussion. Long format discussions need to happen, and just, we'll sometimes draw a base and sometimes not, but either way, it's a long format discussion that we have. Just subs. See you guys soon. Thank you, Fuzzy and the Fat Man. Really appreciate it. I'm going to leave you guys on a parting image that is my favorite memory of the convention. And each and every one of you guys know how I'm going to do this, right? I'll drop this image in a second, but I'm going to go peace out. I'm going to go pinkies out. I'm going to catch y'all on the flip side for the next one. And remember, the most important part all day, each day, every day, be original and take care of each other, because we're all we got. There it is. Have a happy New Year's. No, have a happy week. See you guys on the flip side. Take care. Have a great week.
Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.
Awesome.
The Dr. Afro was kick ass.
It was.
It was.
Thanks.
Best of luck, girl.